We look to connect more people with the ocean, bringing their
Streaming is now online. I hear also the audio. Okay, Francesca, I will now set Enrico as host and we'll leave the meeting.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Gianni. Thank you.
We look to connect more people with the ocean,
Bye.
bringing the opportunity to discover how amazing it is and how much we as humans rely on it.
Metto in evidenza per tutti.
As humans, we are naturally inclined to defend and nurture things that we hold close to our hearts.
The ocean is my confidant, my constant companion, my teacher and healer.
The ocean brings me peace and healing. The ocean has taught me community, the meaning of it, as well as its invaluable worth.
We need to come together from citizens to institutions worldwide. We can and should all take part.
But continuing to educate people and divulgate and communicate knowledge about the sea, because only what we know we can love and protect.
Sono legato al mare per le sensazioni e le emozioni che mi trasmette. C'è un senso di libertà e di pace che non trovo da nessun'altra parte.
Le giovani generazioni avranno il futuro e in qualche modo saranno i campioni di questo cambiamento che ci deve coinvolgere tutti.
Positive change usually comes from below, and any great project starts with a simple action.
Awareness leads to action, and at the outset of 2022, it is possible to observe the remedial action now underway.
The Ocean and Climate Village exhibition will bring you knowledge and emotions coming through your eyes by wonderful imagery and through your ears by sounds of the ocean. But expect even more. This is a place where you or your children can plunge into the ocean safely and be inspired. Your soul will open to the ocean of kind emotions. Come to the village.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the World Oceans Day 2022. I'm really happy to be with you, to be with the Friends of the Ocean and Friends of the World Oceans Day. The theme of this year is revitalization, collective action for the ocean. So we are all here to talk about how we can collectively take care of the ocean, save our ocean, also in the lineup of the UN Ocean Conference, which is going to happen in a few days. So we are almost 20 days to Lisbon. We are really happy to have the opportunity to discuss with you some of the main issues that we will have to talk about during the conference. And I'm happy to welcome here on behalf of the Intergovernmental Oceanographic Commission of UNESCO, but also of the European Commission, that we partner with on the EU for Ocean Coalition, a coalition to promote ocean literacy in Europe and beyond. And for this reason, I'm really happy to welcome Vito Borrelli, representative of the European Commission in Italy, for some welcoming remarks. Mr. Borrelli, the floor is yours.
Hello, good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody, and thanks to IOC, UNESCO, in particular to Francesca Santoro for inviting me to attend this very interesting event intended to celebrate the 8th of June, World Ocean Day. As Francesca already said, this event comes just 20 days ahead of the Ocean Conference of Lisbon, at a critical time as the world is together trying to address many of the big problems of our societies that have been put more in also, they have been laid bare by the COVID-19 pandemic, and which will of course require shared solutions that are very much linked to the Agenda 2030, to the Sustainable Development Goals. To mobilize this action, the conference will try to propose solutions in order to start a new chapter of global ocean action. The European Union is extremely active in this field, in particular with one of its core missions, that is to restore oceans and waters, trying to bring concrete solutions
We have lost Vito.
Probably there was a problem in the connection with Mr. Borrelli. I think he lost his connection, but in any case, we're very happy to have had the opportunity to hear from him as representative of the European Commission. As we mentioned before, we are partnering with the European Commission, in particular the Directorate General on Maritime Affairs, to promote ocean literacy in Europe and beyond. I will now pass the floor to my colleague, Tecla Magioni. Today is a very important day for us as we are launching the catalog of the Ocean and Climate Village. Tecla will tell you more about it. You have seen a beautiful video at the beginning of this webinar, where we are also hosting a number of friends. Some of them are here with us today, but we are really grateful to all of the friends of the ocean who have provided their voices to support our endeavor with this wonderful exhibition. So I now leave the floor to my colleague, Tecla Magioni, who will tell you more about the Ocean and Climate Village. Tecla, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Francesca. So if we can go on with the presentation, today I will present about the Ocean and Climate Village, bringing the ocean to the city. So the Ocean and Climate Village is the first traveling exhibition dedicated to ocean and climate within the framework of the UN Ocean Decade. The Ocean and Climate Village is an innovative tool, education tool to address school, families and city dwellers, and it has the aims to make the cities a place to learn about the sea and to make the cities also a focal point to foster the creation of Generation Ocean. So a generation ocean that by 2030 will have developed a full awareness of the importance of the ocean alongside adequate scientific knowledge and ready to be active player and change maker. Next slide, please. So the Ocean and Climate Village is a multisensory experience. It is interactive and it is designed from a perspective of co-creation, knowledge sharing, and to help society reconnect with the ocean. It is divided in 6 learning areas that cover aspects related to oceanography, climatology, natural and cultural heritage, but also explaining the current and future threats of the ocean under climate change scenarios and presenting a solution. Next slide. Of course, emotions are at the core of the Ocean and Climate Village experience. And to do so, we employ different forms of graphic and digital communication means, such as illustration, infographics, and digital and interactive illustration, as the one you can see here on the right, on sea level rise and thermal expansion. So we involved 9 young artists and designers from the network Design for the Ocean that have lent their creativity to narrate scientific concepts related to the ocean with different graphic styles and different angles. And later on, we will also meet Esteban Gottfried, that is one of the artists that took part in this project. Next slide. So the Ocean and Climate Village is also a place to experiment different format of ocean literacy in the form of guided tours, hands-on activities, and artistic performances. We developed 4 tours for different age, from primary school to high school, and all of them ending with a hands-on activity. And during the edition, we had many different hands-on activities on correlationism, underwater noise pollution, even an MSP simulation game. And you will also meet Marta Musso today, who actively participated in leading some of the hands-on activities we had during the edition of Ocean and Climate Village. Next slide, please. But the Ocean and Climate Village is more than a simple exhibition. So it is also a place to encourage the gathering of scientists, researchers, private companies, educators, and experts in a variety of fields to discuss innovative solutions to tackle the ocean challenges and to build solid partnership. We need to reach out to all sectors of the society to achieve the ocean we want by 2030, and we need to foster as much as possible the generation ocean. Next slide. The Ocean and Climate Village, while traveling, seeks the collaboration of local university, research centers, and ocean experts to set up engaging hands-on activities and satellite events. And also the talks that are hosted by the Ocean and Climate Village are customized with the help of local experts and professionals to address also local needs and expectation. Next slide. So there is no better day than today to launch the Ocean and Climate Village catalog. We developed the catalog in 2 formats, a handbook and a virtual exhibition, to showcase the Ocean and Climate Village experience as a whole. And the catalog aims at bringing to life the Ocean and Climate Village exhibition beyond its temporariness, thanks to the contribution of more than 50 experts, profiles, and ocean advocates that will guide you through the exploration of the exhibition. In the catalog, you will also find a selection of the artwork displayed in the village topical areas, accompanied by scientific contents and explanation. So next slide, please. I encourage you all then to scan this QR code to access the virtual exhibition of the Ocean and Climate Village. It will be an interactive experience. You will hear the voices of experts that will introduce you to each topical area of the village. And you will hear also stories of the artists and designers that are part of the network Design for the Ocean, and you will find an entire chapter dedicated to Generation Ocean, where you will be inspired by voices of people or our partners that are already committed to the ocean. And next slide, please. And here you can see a mock-up of the Ocean and Climate Village printed catalog that will be ready very soon. A big thanks go to all the persons that contribute to the creation and development of this catalog. And the Ocean and Climate Village catalog is aimed at expanding the core message of the exhibition and also will activate the communication of its contents. And next slide, please. The Ocean and Climate Village will travel in Italian cities and abroad throughout the Ocean Decade. The first edition was launched in Milan in October 2021 as an endorsed action of pre-COP26 and All for Climate, and it was welcomed by more than 1,500 visitors in 2 days. Then we had a second edition hosted by Venice Arsenale in spring 2022. And now this is a call to all of you that are listening. If you want to bring the Ocean and Climate Village to your city, do not hesitate to contact us and we will provide you further information to make it possible. And by hosting the Ocean and Climate Village in your city, you will contribute to shaping the generation ocean with newfound awareness and competencies about the importance of the ocean. So let's make the cities a place of learning about the sea and thus promoting the generation ocean we need to achieve the ocean we want by 2030. And thanks so much for your attention.
Thank you so much, Tekla. It was really, and it's really exciting to see this catalog on which we have been working a lot. And again, we are really, really thankful to all the experts and contributors who not only wrote their contribution, but provided their voices, as we heard at the beginning. And as it was said, this Ocean and Climate Village is also a place for interaction between artists, between scientists, between experts, and we are lucky enough to have one of the designers of the Ocean and Climate Village as part of our ocean literacy team at the IOC of UNESCO. I'm really happy to give the floor to Esteban Gottfried, who is part of our team, but also a wonderful designer and part of the Design for the Ocean collective. So Esteban, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Francesca, and hi, everyone. As my colleague Tekla Majoni mentioned, as part of the Ocean and Climate Village, the Design for the Ocean is an international network composed mainly by designers, illustrators, photographers, architects, and many other creative people that have a great passion and love for the ocean and for innovation. Next slide, please. And the other one, yeah. Okay, the Design for the Ocean started with the Ocean and Climate Village opening at the Milan Triennale back in October 2021 with 8 illustrators that expressed, narrated, and shared their connection with the ocean using mainly art. So 7 thematic areas allow you to explore oceanography, climatology, marine habitats, and biodiversity, as well as the natural resources, the heritage, and the threats under the future climate change scenarios. Next slide, please. I was part of the area known as Life in the Deep Blue, where I illustrated some of the marine habitats and marine biodiversity of the Mediterranean Sea. I am an old school artist and marine scientist, so I combine my marine scientist knowledge with art to create designs using mainly watercolors and then scan them into a digital format so they could travel around Italy and hopefully around the world with the Ocean and Climate Village. Some of these examples are the Coralligenus, the Posidonia meadows, the Aves lagoon, and also the invasive species that we can find here in the Mediterranean Sea. Next slide, please. For the second edition of the Ocean and Climate Village, which was here in Venice in 2022, I created some children's illustrations so they could bring back home some of the marine habitats and marine biodiversity that they can also find in the Mediterranean Sea, and a special design, which was the Lagoon of Venice, also with some species that you can find here. And next slide, please. For me, this experience helped me to get mainly on track on the 3 things that I love and enjoy the most, which is the ocean, art, and ocean literacy. I think that the ocean and art connect us all together. They both inspire our daily lives, and they both have the power to change the world. But first, We need to know what we have in order to protect it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Esteban. You are an old school artist, but a wonderful artist.
Thank
So
you so much.
congratulations. Congratulations to you. And one of you asked me if there is in the Q&A box, just, also taking this opportunity to remind you that you can ask us questions in the Q&A box. If there is a website for the Ocean and Climate Village, I put it in the Q&A, but I'm going to put it again in the box so you can enjoy the Ocean and Climate Village online. Right now we have an English and Italian version, but we really hope to have more languages, and also really hoping that you will ask us to bring the Ocean and Climate Village in your city. Right now, I'm super happy to give the floor to Marta Musso. Marta Musso is a young marine biologist, but also the winner of our first contest, Donna di Mare, which means woman of the sea. And Marta was also part of our last stop in Venice, in the Arsenale. And she was really one of the most appreciated participants of our exhibition. Also, she had a very nice relationship with one, I will always remember, one young 9 years old girl who said, when I'm becoming old, I want to be a scientist. So Marta, thanks for inspiring the next generation of ocean scientists, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Francesca. Thank you, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be part of this Ocean and Climate Village and taking my hands-on activities around and really interconnecting and connecting the young generation and next generation ocean to the sea, even in cities. Next slide, please. So those are the words that I take around. So explore, observe, and share. I really want kids and even adults to know what they're looking at. They're not looking at an empty pool, but they really need to observe and see what's behind this beautiful blue planet of ours. Next slide, please. The idea was to create some hands-on experience so that the children could see something that's usually invisible. So what I talk most about is plankton, because it's something that is at the base of the food web, is so important for us and for the ocean, but is usually invisible and really far and seems really far away. But with a microscope and some lenses and some small glasses, you can see what's so far away. You can really understand who are the creatures that are really helping the sea and provide so much for us. Next slide, please. So yes, this was the picture we took with this lovely kid that she was really decided that she was going to be a scientist, as Francesca said. So it's really motivating, and it's beautiful to see how this really young children can be motivated by in such a simple way, And as Esteban and Decla said, mixing art and science together to bring ocean literacy to the younger, but also to adults. Next slide, please. So yes, this is what I do, again, mixing art and science together and giving the opportunity to children to really experience it and feel like they're part of the ocean, and they can be scientists. They have the possibility to be scientists in a simple way without having to learn so much. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Marta. We really enjoyed being with you in the Arsenale, and we hope to continue being with you in other stops of the Ocean and Climate Village. Now it's my role to tell you a few words about our campaign. As you know, we are currently in the UN Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development, which is a great international initiative that promotes ocean science, but also wants to really reconnect people with the ocean. And for this reason, we have developed a campaign called Generation Ocean, and I'm presenting here some of the main features of this campaign, also as a way to invite you to join us. Next slide, please. So the campaign was launched only a few months ago in April 2022. And what is the vision of this campaign is, of course, to grow awareness, build knowledge, and drive action in the public to restore and protect the ocean. That's always the key for us, increasing awareness, but as well as, and maybe most importantly, to drive action so that people can become those active agents of change that we really need to solve the problems that we have to tackle. The mission of Generation Ocean is to drive people to take simple actions in their daily lives towards restoring and protecting the ocean. We want to grow awareness in the general public around ocean issues and communicate it through people-led storytelling. That is really important for us. Generation Ocean is about people telling their stories of protecting the ocean, studying the ocean, and loving the ocean. We want to build knowledge and understanding in the general public of ocean issues through ocean science. Next slide, please. As we said, we are currently in the Ocean Decade. We launched the Ocean Decade in 2021, in January 2021. We have been mandated as Intergovernmental Oceanographic Commission of UNESCO to coordinate the Ocean Decade. We already have a number of programs and projects which have been promoted and endorsed by the Ocean Decade. Is really becoming a global movement, not only of scientists, I would say, but of every single sector of the civil society. So Generation Ocean presents the opportunity to people to understand and appreciate the ocean as a key part of the solution of the planet's sustainability and climate crisis. This campaign aims to inform the general public in ocean knowledge and science, and again, to encourage them to take action. Next slide, please. We are unique. That's one of the message of the Generation Ocean. We want to really promote a sense of being part of a great community, as we are here today, and not shaming people, but instead instilling a feeling of unity. As you know, and as I like to say every time I have the opportunity to talk to colleagues and friends and people who love the ocean, Jacques Cousteau was saying the ocean is the great unifier. And as you know, the first principle of ocean literacy is that there is only one ocean. So the ocean has really this capacity to unite us all, and that's, you know, what we want to promote through Generation Ocean. It's about making people feel that the ocean is part of our life, that we can use our action in our everyday life to protect the ocean, but also I think to become ambassadors of the message that we need to promote further. Next slide, please. So the ocean is open and everyone is welcome to join. We want to have a tone that is real, accessible, and conveyed in everyday language. Our way of talking to people is informal, conversational, and jargon-free. We also want to be bold because we are here to inspire people with strong, clear, and concise story. We command attention, and our words and actions are relevant and intentional. Generation Ocean, it's easy to understand at a glance. And also, Generation Ocean is energetic, determined, and consistent. There is always a clear action or response to follow or repeat. As well as being pragmatic, we are also motivational and wondrous. Next slide, please. So what are the campaign pillars? The campaign pillars are developing, are the main content of our campaign, which is educational, inspiring, entertaining, and inclusive. And our main purpose is to motivate our audience to take everyday action to help restore and protect the ocean. Next slide, please. So what are those pillars? First of all, action. As I already said, each one must take urgent action in our own lives and during the decade to protect and restore the ocean. Transforming our ocean will take action at all levels and by all people. And to persuade and instigate action, we need to grow awareness and share simple solutions to create meaningful change. People is the second pillar of the Generation Ocean campaign, as we are all connected to the ocean, which is under threat from our activities. Our people are remarkable, resonate with our audience, spark ideas among the Generation Ocean community, and encourage everyone to act now. And of course, science. Science is the third pillar that is at the basis of our decade. And we want to show to people that groundbreaking science can help us, not only illustrating the urgencies of taking actions, but also can inspire us and not only be informative, but really present us the solutions that we need. So what we really want to is to make science close to people. We want science to inspire people, and we want science to help us deciding the course of action that we will have to follow in the next years. Next slide, please. Get involved. This is our call to action today. We call on you, all those here on Zoom, those following us on YouTube, get involved, be part of the Generation Ocean campaign. How? Please, next slide. There are different ways to get involved in Gen Ocean. For people, take action every day, read stories about others doing all things great and small, read about science happening under the ocean decade, tell your stories of change, of taking action. You can contact us, you can email us, or via social media, or submit your ideas through the website. Spread the word on your social media using our own open source assets. As you are an organization, we would love to amplify your work and the work you do across our network. Point your community to verified Gen Ocean actions so that they can take tangible action for the ocean. Work with us on exciting collaboration. We are always open to ideas, so get in touch with us and spread the word on social media using our open source assets. And Decade actions. Communicate your exciting work to the wider public. Gen Ocean can tell the story of your Decade action. Incorporate verified Gen Ocean actions into the communication outreach of your science project and help us spreading the word. Next slide. These are the ways to get connected with us. Don't hesitate to contact us. Also, I'm really grateful to my colleague Vinicius Lindoso, who is working hard with the campaign manager to really promote this Gen Ocean campaign. And I'm sure that we will see more and more of you joining us for this wonderful campaign that will take us to the end of the ocean decade in 2030. We will do great things together. And so really a warm invite to all of you to take action from today, which is the World Oceans Day, but to do that in all the 364 other days, because we should all be reminded that every day should be World Oceans Day. Thank you very much. So this was an introduction on the Gen Ocean campaign. I hope I was able to inspire you a little bit and to really give you also some ideas on how you can join this wonderful campaign that is getting visibility day by day. And today with me, again, I'm lucky enough to have two of our friends, Voices of the Ocean, that every day they do concrete action to help us reconnected with the ocean. Not only that, but also concrete action to safeguard and protect our ocean. So our next speaker is a friend, is a person who works concretely day by day, connecting the ocean with art, with activism, and I'm really, really happy to welcome Patricia Furtado, who is the founder of Aquamater. Patricia from Brazil, welcome to our World Ocean Day.
Thank you, Francesca. Thank you, everyone. And first of all, I wanted to say that I'm very, very happy and honored to be here today with all those marine friends and partners to talk a little bit about my strong connection to the ocean. And as I did when I was invited to participate at the Ocean and Climate Village catalog. Well, in 2016, after so many years dedicating time and energy to support the development of projects that were not mine, I asked to myself, Patricia, what would you have to communicate and to give to the world? I didn't know yet. So I asked myself another question. What do you love the most in your life? And the answer to that question answered the first one. I will explain. What I love the most in my life since I was a baby is water, and especially the sea water. I have always felt this kind of call of the sea. And the most important things I've learned during my whole life didn't come from the books or from the mouths of the others, even if I have learned a lot through them, of course. But every time I needed to find a deep connection to myself and to life itself, in all senses, I felt the necessity of going to the beach. I was born in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, so we had the ocean there. So I had that need of going to the beach, of looking at the sea moving surface of the water, of breathing its fresh air, and of entering its blue waters. Why? I think that to be in peace and to find my center, to intuit how to deal with the various challenges we face for living on this planet. So the ocean became my greatest master. And that's why I always feel home when dancing underwater in apnea, when freediving with my monofin, as if I were a whale, or emerging in reality in the deepest part of myself. Those experiences were so strong that when I had to choose the subject of my university thesis, I decided to look for the answers to the questions that were like shaking crazily inside me, as why do you always feel that the sea is like calling you? And that's how I started practical and theoretical research on our marine memories. And in 2017, I understood that I could communicate and give to the world in reality. What was that? Was to give back to all the waters that reconnect me to the ocean, what they have given to me during my whole life. Because these waters, they took care of me somehow. And that's why I have created Aquamater, my organization, that means Mother Water in Latin. And today, I do my best to inspire and to encourage people to take care of all the waters that circulate in our planet, since each drop of water that we can find inland came from the ocean, and one day we'll go back there. So the ocean is our common ancestor. We all came from the ocean. We are inextricably connected to the ocean, since the first living cell originated in its waters, as we were originated in the inner ocean of our mother's womb, this little cell called the zygote. So the ocean doesn't begin in the rain hatches. It doesn't begin in our homes. It begins inside us, in the blood that runs in our veins, in the salty waters that inhabit our cells, in our organs that are complexified marine organisms. Without ocean, life could not exist and cannot be maintained. The ocean is our life support system. So, how to use its resources, I mean, its living waters and organisms, to generate and to regenerate life in our planet. Ocean literacy is about our relationship to the ocean, about how we are connected to the ocean in this interconnected web of life. The ocean has always been so generous with us. To continue receiving, consuming, or enjoying it, we must give back, as if it were a friend or a parent, someone from your working team. if we treat the ocean as we treat those who we care for, it will thrive. It will continue to offer us everything it has offered us since the beginning. So now I want to ask you, how do you relate to the ocean that surrounds you and that you carry within? If we take care of the ocean will continue to take care of us. That's why the World's Ocean Day, it's every day. Thank you.
Thank you, my dear Patricia. It's so nice and inspiring always to hear your thoughts about our shared ocean. And now I'm very happy to have with us another friend, another friend of me, another friend of the ocean, and Kerstin Forsberg, who is the director and founder of Planeta Oceano, an NGO based in Peru. And Kerstin also is really dedicating a life to protect the ocean and also to engage everyone and to convince everyone to come on board. So Kerstin, thank you for joining us for World Oceans Day, and the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Francesca. And it's actually an honor, as Patricia mentioned, to be here with you all today and to have been able to participate in the catalog. And what I talked about in the catalog was precisely what we're talking about today, the importance of the ocean. The ocean is our life support system. However, the ocean is severely challenged and threatened by different threats, such as overexploitation and pollution and climate change. And this all has a role to play within our society. It is jeopardizing the way that our society is working, and each one of us has a role to play to conserve our ocean. And this is why I think Generation Ocean is so important for all of us to join. What I would like to do is I'll share my screen, and I would like to share some stories with you, some very short and interlinked stories today of different people that are out there in the field working with us and coming on board to protect our shared ocean. We know that today is World Ocean Day. We need to celebrate it. Every day is World Ocean Day. And the key theme right now is revitalize our ocean. Let's do collective action. Let's bring everybody together. And hopefully through these shared interlinked stories, I can kind of show how we have been working on this in Peru. And I'd first like to present the first person in my story today, which is Sheila Granda, who's this volunteer that came on board in the blue t-shirt to work with sea turtle conservation. So she started patrolling the beaches to report sea turtle mortality and strandings. And this project grew into a community project where you then had fishermen such as Peter that were reporting sea turtles that were caught incidentally on board. And then he was releasing them, and his friends wanted to join as well. So he would come in. These leaders become this multiplier effect in the community. Or you have sisters such as the Suncion girls that reported the very first evidence of green turtle nesting in Peru. And this was done through a report from girls, and then went on to develop campaigns to, for example, reduce ornamental use of sea turtles in northern Peru. So how is this interlinked with my next story? Sheila Granda is the sister of Josue Granda, and Josue was 4 years old when he started coming on board to volunteer on the project together with his little cousins. And now, over 12 years later, they are still leaders in their field. They now take down the streets parades with their little cousins, and they start reporting the sea turtles that they have been seeing throughout the years, and also engaged in other campaigns. So, for example, the giant manta ray campaign that we are engaged with. And so let me talk to you a bit about the giant mantas. And giant mantas are flagship species for us. They were previously harvested in Peru, and now through the work with local communities and with local governments, we've been able to secure legal protection for giant manta rays. But it's not just about ensuring that legal protection. It's about bringing everybody together. So working with scientists, working with citizen scientists, such as fishermen like Edgardo, for example, which we go out into the water and we report sightings of giant mantas. They've just been in the water yesterday and they were seeing these giant whales that were breaching out in the water. bringing everybody together, bringing the artisans together in order to start developing, as was previously mentioned, art to showcase this important creature and how conservation can bring sustainable development to an area, for example, through community-based tourism. This is the recent interpretation center that we have launched together with artists such as Jorge, together with entrepreneurs and local businesses such as Susana, that everybody come together. So it's really about people. At the end, we're talking about the ocean, but it's really about how we as people engage with the ocean. And so talking about giant manta rays, we were out in the ocean once, bringing a lot of different people on board, from tourists to young scientists to conservationists and also teachers, right? So you can see here Vitalia, who's a teacher from our Marine Educators Network of Northern Peru, that she went out in order to watch these magnificent creatures and bring these stories back to the classroom, right? So since 2009, the Marine Educators Network, which Vitalia is part of, but also many other teachers in over 50 schools, they bring ocean literacy within classrooms, but not just the topics. It's really about engaging kids, engaging youth to take action, to develop this multiplier effect within their communities and to connect between each other, to connect schools, to connect youth. And right now we're actually working on a new project which is called Connecting Schools, in which we're bringing together kids through online technology from different communities, from different countries even, to really talk about this shared ocean and how youth can take an active role in order to conserve it. And so talking about schools, for example, many people have been engaged within our school work. And one of them is Mariano, and you can actually see him right now inside that manta ray mascot. But actually, Mariano is an early career ocean professional. He is a scientist. He's an emerging leader that has been working with us for many years to study the manta rays, to work with communities, and also to study one of the flagship species that we're working on right now, which is the critically endangered large-toothed sawfish. So it's really about giving that opportunity to youth to recognize that they can take action, that they can do the science, that they can do the collective action that we need in order to protect our ocean. So just finalizing that, I would say that within this work, something that really resonates with me is how we connect as people, how everybody has a role to play, how students can be connected with fishermen, how governments can connect with scientists, with the corporate sector, with kids themselves, and how we can all come together to really have this transformative and collective action that our ocean needs. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Kerstin. As usual, you are very inspiring, and it's so nice to see concrete actions taking place. And I think you are one of our global leaders in really bringing together different actors, as you were rightly saying. So thank you all very much for this first session dedicated to Generation Ocean, Ocean and Climate Village. I will put on the chat the link to the Ocean and Climate Village. You can already enjoy and hear the wonderful voices of the ocean. And looking at the wonderful designs by Esteban. And this is really, again, inspiring to see this happening, and hopefully we're gonna see each other in presence very soon in Lisbon and in other places where we really want to bring our Ocean and Climate Village. Thank you all so very much for being here for this first session. And now we are going to move to the next session of the webinar. Today, in this moment, the world is living really a very difficult time. We are facing a war that nobody would have never wanted to see. We as international community, we have to always work towards peace, and I always like to remember the first sentence of the Constitution of UNESCO, which says that if war begins in the minds of men and women, it is in the minds of men and women that the constructor of the peace must be built. So I'm really happy today to tackle this topic. Energy is one of the main issues nowadays in our life. And I'm happy to do this with people who are dedicating their life to provide us new ways of getting energy from renewable energy, I would say. And again, I would like to thank the European Commission for having organized with us this webinar. And to also having had the idea of building a coalition called the EU for Ocean that get together different people from different sectors to work towards ocean literacy, because first of all, as we have said, we need to make people more aware if we want to drive concrete actions. So I'm really happy to now give the floor to Davide Villa, who is the Chief Customer Office and board member of E.ON. And Davide will give us a general update on what is the status of the energy sector and also on renewables, generally speaking. So thank you very much for having accepted our invitation, Davide, and the floor is yours.
Ciao, Francesca, many thanks. You know, I cannot say no to you. So every time you call me, it's always a yes. What you're doing is exceptional, and so really pleased to be here with you and with all the guys around the table. So the topic of today is renewable, and especially acceleration of renewable. I'm Chief Customer Officer of E.ON, and so I try to give you the point of view of customers. Let me go a little bit back a few years. So in 2015, with COP21, we had the Paris Agreement. And here we finally understood more about climate change, but people at that time were convinced that someone else should do something to fight the climate change. Then in 2019, I found another step important in our, let's say, awareness evolution, Fridays for Future. Here we got a new step where most of us understood that we all should do something, cannot be someone else. Then in 2020, pandemic gave us the opportunity to understand that really, if we do something together, we see the change. From an unfortunate lockdown, we all saw that being locked home without using the cars, reducing consumption, etc., was great beneficial for the environmental. So we saw clean air in our cities, here in North Italy. I remember the articles about India, etc. Now, then in post-pandemic, last year, 2021, unfortunately, let's say our awareness went a little bit the opposite direction because the belief, let's say the experience, the will of everybody was, I want to live my life. So I don't care so much about using energy and CO2 emission. This year, there is a new step in this change of our customer, let's say, different behavior, the war. The war means scarcity of energy. The war means we cannot all use as much energy as we want. Why I'm talking so much about customers or citizens? Because policymakers and government do things following what citizens feel and want. So unless we don't have the entire citizens really into the energy reduction, the movement, the acceleration of renewables, policymakers and government will not do exactly what we need. So what is happening today? Because of the war, we understood, especially in Europe, that energy is not unlimited. As citizens, as customers, we cannot consume all the energy we want, but we need to take care of our energy consumption. In Europe, we have a strong dependency on Russian oil and gas dependence that is, in some countries, over 40% of the energy consumption. So we are, in the first time after the 70s, in an energy consumption crisis, supply crisis, sorry. And this also led to a huge price increase of energy. Just to give you a number, in Italy, energy prices went up from 50 euro megawatt hour to 250 today in 1 year time. So energy is costing to us 5 times more than last year, with a peak of 500 euros at the beginning of the war. Okay, what is in terms of number the risk of this Russian shortage? It's something around 400 terawatt hours. 400 terawatt hours means that entire Europe, in case of closing the Russian gas, is not able to provide an entire country, energy to an entire country like Italy. So it's a huge quantity of energy, 10-15% of the total consumption. But we can address this problem. We can address how? Okay, of course, first thing that we are all seeing that Europe is not closing the gas supply from Russia, but in the same time, all governments are pushing energy consumption reduction. So everyone is talking finally about reducing consumption. Our Prime Minister Draghi, a few months ago, said this summer we will have at least 2 degrees less of cooling, saving energy from cooling. In winter, we will have other, let's say, pressure on reducing the heating without any change in our behavior, in our, let's say, lifestyle, but with a huge change on environmental. Then the other point is accelerating renewables. And this is, for me, the most exciting point. It's not only a claim, it's a reality. So the European Commission in the last few days made a new plan that is called Repower EU. This plan basically says exactly what I said. We need to save energy, so reduce consumption, giving more power and asking governments to do something to reduce consumption, differentiate the supply. So instead of buying gas only from Russia, we need to buy gas also from Africa, Middle East, Saudi, but also liquid natural gas, LNG from the US, also invest on hydrogen. And the third point is having a common, let's say, EU strategy management. And the fourth point is accelerating renewables, setting, so the European Commission set a new target. Now the ambition is to get to 45% of the entire energy production from renewables by 2030 versus the 40% that was the previous plan. Maybe lots of information, but the point important is finally our government, the European Commission, European Union are really pushing renewables and are asking local governments to simplify the permitting, because today we are slow in producing renewables because of permitting. A couple of last numbers, shocking. In 2021, the entire world installed 260 gigawatts of new renewables power in the world. In Europe, only 40 giga. That's a very small number. Our target as Europe was to do almost 20 giga of wind renewables, and we did only 11. So we are able to develop 11 gigawatt of new wind power plant per year. And now with the new target of the last days is 30, this target. We are only at 11, so we need to accelerate. How we can accelerate? Really investing on all renewable means. That is wind offshore, and now the colleagues will talk more about wind offshore and also other means. The other means, the innovation. Currents, waves, and other innovative, let's say, renewables. But also we need to continue to push photovoltaic on land and wind farms on land. We need all the combination of renewables. Unfortunately, in Italy, the situation is even worse than in Europe. We are slow. Our plan should be to install 7 to 8 gigawatt of new power production per year. Last year, we closed only 1.3, so we are far behind. We need to accelerate. But on the other hand, we are also having some good news. A few months ago, we finally had the announcement of the first offshore wind power plant in Taranto. There is a new project coming in Puglia in Salento that will be a huge one, over 1 gigawatt of power. There are new developments, speed up of developments in Sicily and Sardinia. So finally, also us in Italy, we are moving into the offshore wind. Said so, I think I gave a small introduction for the colleagues. I don't know, Francesca, if you have any question or I was not clear in any point.
Thank you, Davide. Thank you very much for this super interesting introduction on the topic. It is really the topic right now, so it's important that we talk about it, that we better understand what are the issues at stake, and also again how the ocean can be a source of solution. So for this, I'm now very happy to give the floor to Gianmaria Sannino, Chair of the Implementation Working Group Ocean Energy for the European Commission Strategic Energy Technological Plan, and also part of Enea, an Italian institute, research institute. So Gianmaria will talk about what the European Union is doing on marine renewables. And again, I remind the participants that they can put their questions in the Q&A box, and I'm sure the speakers will be happy to reply. So Gianmaria, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Francesca. Ciao, Francesca, and hi, everybody. And thank you for inviting me. Just to give you some information about, ocean energy, what we call ocean energy, and what the European Commission is doing to promote as much as possible the ocean energy within, European Union. So I will try just to share my presentation. So I don't know if you can confirm that you see my presentation?
Yes, we do.
Okay, good. So as Francesca just introduced me, I'm the chair of the Implementation Working Group Ocean Energy for the European Commission for the SET plan. The SET plan actually is the Strategic Energy Technological Plan of our Commission. So in other terms, the SET plan is we can say is the technological pillar for for Europe in terms of energy. So in the SET plan is working starting from the nuclear energy down to the ocean energies, so any kind of energy. And actually for the renewables, the main goal of the SET plan is just to be the #1. So Europe must be the #1 in renewables all around the world. So this is the main goal. And among the renewables, there's also the ocean energy. So this is good because, the European Commission trusts, the ocean energy. But why? Because we have a lot of sources of energy within our ocean, within our seas, because we can just harvest energy from the waves, from the tides, from the ocean currents, from the difference of temperature, or even the difference of salinity. Of course, this is a renewable sources of energy, so the distribution is not uniform all around our planet. But so we have in some places, in some region, there is much more tidal energy than wave energy, and the opposite, and so on. But in general, we can say that just looking at waves and tides, we can say that there's a lot of energy. So if we were able to harvest all this energy, we can produce electricity 10 times what we really need today. So that's a huge amount of energy. That's why the Commission is looking at the ocean energy. This is just to give you some numbers. So the capacity is really huge. So the problem is just to harvest this energy. And to do that, we need also a boost from, the political side, as told also before in the previous talk. So that's why there's this implementation working group. And just to give you some information, in 2018, the main ocean energy stakeholders and most of the member states have reached an agreement on the common objective for the ocean energy sector. These are, the main objectives: just to bring ocean energy to commercial deployment, to drive down the cost of the energy produced by the ocean energy, to maintain and grow Europe's leadership position in ocean energy, and just to make Europe the industrial technological base to grow and to create also a lot of new, let's say, employee for the ocean energy. So these are the main objective for the Commission. This is why we are working in this implementation working group. And we have also numbers, how to say, targets in Europe for the ocean energy. So we have a very challenging target that is 100 megawatts of deployed wave on tidal capacity in the European waters by 2025. That means more or less tomorrow. And 1 gigawatts of capacity installed in the European waters by 2030. This is, I mean, the closest targets that we have. But we have also targets in terms of cost of the energy. So the cost of energy must be around €1 per megawatts in 2030 or 2035. So there's this 5 years shift between tidal and wave energy, because tidal energy is a little bit faster, let's say, than the wave energy. And in any case, there's a lot of, let's say, member states who are working all together to reach these targets. Here you see in blue who are the member states that are, I mean, actively working around this implementation working group. And here are the name of the chair and the co-chair. So I'm the chair, and the co-chair is Tim Hurst from the Wave Energy Scotland. So we are all working together with the Commission to follow what is also happening in Europe in terms of ocean energy. So we are also monitoring year by year what is happening in terms of projects that are, I mean, working on the ocean energy. And these are, for example, the strategy for the offshore renewable energy that has, I mean, to say, put forward from the Commission. So these are the targets. We have to install at least 40 gigawatts of energy by 2050. This is the minimum, let's say, target. Of course, the ambitious is to deploy more and more, let's say, gigawatts of energy. And I mean, we are quite confident that we can do this kind of, to meet these targets, because we are monitoring since 2018 what is happening all around Europe. And just to give you an idea on how many projects are now running in Europe, you can here just see the numbers. So in 2018, we had something like 90 projects about ocean energy. Most of these projects were, I mean, financed by European Commission or from the single member states. But if you see the numbers, there's an increased number of projects that are, I mean, now working on the ocean energy. So there's a very good, to say, increased number of projects. And so we are quite confident that at the end, we will meet the numbers, I mean, put forward by the Commission in terms of installed capacity. But what about the Mediterranean? So this is just what happens in Europe. But what about the Mediterranean? So if we look at the Mediterranean, and especially for the wave energy, we see that the Mediterranean, even though it is a small and is a marginal sea, has quite energy to harvest. So it's less than, I mean, the ocean, of course, but I mean, it is quite a high level of energy. And this is the map of where the energy is stored in the Mediterranean Sea. This was put forward by Badionnet in 2009. So this is the map. So most of the energy is where, I mean, the color is more reddish, let's say. So we can harvest energy western of Sardinia, or in the north part of Libya, or just in the Sicily Channel. So these are the most rich location in the Mediterranean Sea. And of course, we just used our computer, I mean, supercomputer, to reproduce the climatology of the waves for the Mediterranean Sea. And here you see how this climatology, to say, meets the observation. So we have compared our climatology with the buoy that are, for example, around Italy. And as you can see, there's a very, very good, to say, agreement between our model and, I mean, the buoy. So actually, what we can say is that our map is one of the best, let's say, map showing where we can just take most advantage of wave energy all around the Mediterranean Sea. And this is just for the amplitude of the waves. So there's a very good agreement, but actually this is, if you are, I mean, if you wanna love to see numbers, these numbers just say to you that I mean, our climatology is very close to the reality. So, and here you see the same numbers, not only for the high of the waves, but also from the direction of the waves. So here you see, for example, how our model, our climatology is close to the observation of the wave direction. For example, in Alghero, that is in this place in the western northern part of Alghero. So there's no difference between our, let's say, digital information and real information coming from the buoy. And also just looking at the rest of the Mediterranean Sea. So in this case, we use data coming from the satellite, all the satellite. And also in this case, there's a very good, to say, agreement between the satellite and our model. So what we can say is that, okay, this is the best, I mean, map that we can use to find, to discover where is, I mean, the good place to install something in the Mediterranean Sea. But this is still not enough. So what we have done in the recent past was just to refine this information, just to close more and more close to the coast. So we have just refined this information. And this is, for example, how the amount of energy change point by point, for example, all along the coast of the Sicily Island or the Sardinia Island or the right. And as you can see, the energy changed dramatically if we move, for example, from the north to the south of Sardinia. And also on the left, so without going go in the details, what the figure on the left is saying to you is how this energy is distributed among the different waves that we see on the sea. So, and in this case, we are the figure is saying to us that actually most of the energy is not stored in the very big waves, but actually there's a lot of energy in the smallest waves. So we have to harvest energy from this kind of waves. So just to give you this additional information, now we know exactly which kind of wave we have to consider to extract energy. So because at the end, any kind of prototype or device we put in the sea to harvest energy, it must be like a violin. So as a violin must be tuned with the rest of the orchestra to play in the good way, any kind of device that will be put in the sea should be, to say, has to be in line with the waves. So we must know how the waves are done. So, and this, thanks to these plots, now we know exactly how the waves are done in the Mediterranean Sea. And thanks to this information, most of the devices have been developed. And the presentation that will be even, I mean, after me, I'm sure that will show some, I mean, very promising devices to harvest energy in the Mediterranean Sea. And what we have done is also to go very, very close to the coast, even, I mean, close in harbor. This is a typical example. So our climatology starts from the Mediterranean Sea and can go deep around the Pantelleria Island. It's a very small island just in the core of the Mediterranean. And here just an example. So we can have this information even in the harbor of a small island like Pantelleria Island. So thanks to this information, we now have developed new devices. But what we have done is not only discover how many energy we have in the Mediterranean, in the waves of the Mediterranean, but also how many energy we have in our tides. And as you can see here, most of the energy is stored in the Strait of Gibraltar and Strait of Messina. And what we have done is something similar for the waves, also for the tidal current. So what you see here was the first three-dimensional model that was able to reproduce three-dimensional tides in the Mediterranean Sea. And just going in details, this is what happens for the tides in the Strait of Messina or in the Strait of Gibraltar. So just taking this information, how strong is the velocity of tides in the Strait of Gibraltar, Strait of Messina, we have done some exercise. And for the Strait of Messina, that is of course of interest for Italy, now we know that we can extract energy. For example, just installing a device, as you see in this picture here, if we put 40 of that device, we can provide energy for Messina. I mean, 1/3 of the energy that Messina, that is the biggest city in the Strait of Messina, needs just from the waves. Just to conclude, this is what we are doing together with the Politecnico di Torino for the wave energy. So this is, for example, our device. This is just a prototype, a small prototypes that we are testing in tanks, and the prototypes now is ready to be built in a real scale. So we really wish to take this very small prototype in a real scale in the next three years. And this is how the prototype will look like. I mean, I don't know if you can see the man. So it's a very huge boat with a pendulum inside. And when the boats will, start to move in the waves, the pendulum will start to oscillate, and attached to the pendulum there's a motor, and that will generate energy. Of course, it is a little bit more complicated than I just said right now, but without going deep inside in the details, this is what we are going to do. And I'm quite sure that in the next presentation would be also, you will see something more. So my presentation is ended here, but this is the final messages. Ocean energy can be part of the solution of the renewable mix for the entire planet, but even for, let's say, regional seas like the Mediterranean Sea. So stay tuned, because in the next 2-3 years, we will see something producing energy in the Mediterranean. That's all from my side.
Thank you very much. Really interesting, and also your last message giving us a lot of hope for the future. And I'm sure that the next speaker will also talk, as you said, a little bit more in detail about this concrete project. So I'm happy to give the floor to Giuseppe Giorgi, researcher at the Politecnico of Torino. And I'm sure Giuseppe will shed some light on this project. Thank you. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Can you hear me well? Okay, can you hear me properly?
Yes, we do.
Okay, yeah, thanks. So, yeah, good morning, everyone, and thank you for inviting me here. So I'm actually talking from a conference, which is the OMAI 2022 in Hamburg. So here's my badge, and there are sessions ongoing. So this is probably the best piece of evidence that the scientific community is working hard. We are here with 700 people talking about offshore renewable energy, among other things. So here, and try to share the screen. And can you confirm that you can see it?
Yes, we do. Thank you.
Okay. And also in full screen. Let me take this out. And okay. So I am for the Marine Offshore Renewable Energy Lab of Politecnico di Torino. As Gian Maria mentioned, we collaborate a little bit also for the wave energy conversion. So today I'm going to present really quickly a showcase of effort that has been done in Europe in general, and some technology that has been developed, just to give you a glance of what the technology looks like, because there's been a lot of talk about offshore renewable energy, but what the converters look like is often a mystery for the wider public. So the introduction from Gianmaria was perfect and was mentioning the ambitious targets that has been set by the European Commission for carbon neutrality by 2050 in the Green Deal and so many other communication. But I want to focus mostly on the role of offshore renewable energy that the Commission clearly mentioned in a communication from 2020, where the potential of offshore renewable energy was absolutely stated as paramount to reach the carbon neutrality targets. And we have also numbers, quantitative measures and targets that needs to be met for offshore wind and ocean energy, which includes wave and tidal energy for 2030 and 2050, which are these are the minimum targets, but already ambitious. And we know, we believe in the field that we can also reach higher objectives. So yeah, my talk is going to be a broad overview of what offshore renewable energy looks like. And I'm going to focus mostly on offshore wind energy, either bottom fixed or floating, tidal energy, either tidal range or tidal stream, and wave energy, either onshore, nearshore, or offshore. I'm not going to talk about the floating solar PV and temperature gradient and salinity gradient because they're not at technology readiness level high enough to be implemented soon, or they are not relevant for the European context. And I'm going to focus a little bit more on what is going on in the Mediterranean Sea. So offshore wind is a hot topic lately because we want to move wind energy that has been successful on land. We want to move it to shore. The reasons are, on the one hand, there are some, say, problems to install further capacity on land for competition for land use and the not in my backyard issue always standing. But on the other hand, there's also a big opportunity to go offshore because winds are higher and much steadier, and there's a lot of potential offshore. And there's also high energy need in densely populated area in coastal areas. So having energy produced offshore, it is an opportunity. So the technology is either bottom fixed, which is the one that is most mature and reliable technology, which clearly relies on a water depth that allows us to go and install something directly on the seabed. So this is very cheap already and mature technology, but there is a limitation for, let's say, about 100 meters with water depth. But then if we want to move further offshore where the wind is even higher and there's higher energy content, now in the last 5 to 10 years, well, last 5 years, a lot of momentum is being created for floating wind. We can be installed up to 1,000 meters. And this map shows you the bathymetry in Europe, which really correlates with where offshore wind is successful nowadays commercially. So all the in Northern Europe, you can see the bathymetry is very low. So there's shallow waters, and that's why it's been so successful, the bottom fixed offshore wind in the north. While in the Mediterranean Sea, you can see the blue color means really deep waters. So fixed, bottom fixed offshore wind is not feasible technically or commercially. And that's why floating offshore wind is going to be the opportunity for the Mediterranean Sea. Now, just some projects. So as already been mentioned, the Taranto wind turbine plant is a nearshore plant of 30 megawatts. And I'm pretty proud of it because Taranto is my home city. So that's something that's good related to Taranto, that has been one of the worst cities in Europe for pollution. So it's a good showcase for the Mediterranean Sea to have a offshore wind plant. So that's already been constructed. It's going to be operated this year. And that was bottom fixed. Moving to floating offshore wind, there's plenty of projects planned that are going to be installed in the coming years. They are pretty advanced already in the planning, permitting, and technical studies. And I'm just mentioning the Blue Float with several different plants planned, up to 5 gigawatts in total of installed capacity, or the Renexia, which is just one huge plant is going to be built in the Strait of Sicily. And then Eclusa Wind Power in Sardinia, Total Energies in south of France with some pilot prototypes. So there's plenty of different companies that are going to install, are committed to install floating offshore wind offshore. Moving to tidal energy. So the energy of the tides is coming mainly from the cycles of the moon. which has the main advantage of being highly predictable with 12 or 24 hour cycles. So being highly predictable is very useful for energy planning and for energy overall on the nationwide. But its potential really depends on the orography and so the presence of channels and straits, as Gianmaria already showed. So the two examples are the tidal range, which is essentially building a barrage, so like something like a dam on a channel, and then using gates, so you can really generate head and then with turbines convert power. This is one of the biggest examples in France. And then there is the fancier tidal stream, where you can see there's a lot of creativity in technology solutions. So you can see examples. All of these are in Northern Europe, where the tides are seen as more powerful because of the orography they have. You can see the turbine-like, like the Sabella with the plenty of blades or just two blades, or kind of inverted blades with the hole inside, so the blades are mounted on a ring, external ring. Or you can see a kite-like device, like the Minesto, or a floating tidal turbines, like the orbital one. So all of these are concepts that have been installed and are very high in the technology readiness level. For the Mediterranean Sea, as Gianmaria mentioned, there's not much available. The most promising one is in Messina, in the state of Messina, with the Gemstar device, which is also a kite-like device that has a very high potential to provide power to, for example, Messina city. And going to wave energy. So wave energy is a little bit behind tidal in development, but is approaching to a readiness level where in 2 to 3 years we can install real capacity in the water. The advantages of wave energy are that very higher energy density, so there's a lot of potential, is much more predictable and steady than offshore wind, and is spread around the globe in a consistent quantity of energy. But the main disadvantage is that there is a very harsh environment offshore with extreme waves and salty environment. But still, it is paramount to include wave energy in our future energy mix, not only because the potential is huge, but because it is necessary to diversify the energy mix. So having a lot of different energy sources that are going to complement each other are going to reduce the overall cost of the system-wise energy system. And we cannot rely only on wind and solar if we want 100% penetration of renewable energy, because when the wind and solar stop, you need to rely on something else, and wave is always going to be there. So it's going to balance essentially the grid and lower the need for storage, which is expensive and critical for also geopolitical point of view with the rare materials. So the type of converters that exist are even more creative than the ones of tidal. So with these 8 GIFs, just really a quick glance is to have a way to somehow create a relative motion between two components, thanks to the excitation of the waves. So these are very just archetypal types. I'm going to show you some implementations. So the first one is the ISWAC device that is being developed actually at my university in collaboration with Wave for Energy and ENI. And we've already been installing devices. In 2015, this is a picture of Pantelleria Island, the second picture. And from 2019 to 2022, there is the Adriatic Sea, where there is the bottom picture. We installed it there for 3 years. The testing was successful. And now in October 2022, we are going back to Pantelleria with a new device with all innovations from the studies we conducted in the last years, going to be installed offshore. And on the other side, you can see the PEWEC was already mentioned. It is in collaboration with Enea, still with Politecnico Torino. And we did already plenty of tests with prototypes in wave flumes. So there are pictures of Rome in 2016 and in Naples in 2021. I was actually in the video that Gianmaria showed. I was there pulling the device in the water. So it's another very active research area, and we're going to build a full scale next. Then other devices is like the OPT, Ocean Power Technology from the US, that is has been installing and testing the device in the Adriatic Sea as well. So you can see here a picture for actual offshore operation. And there's an oscillating water column device, the REWEC, in Civitavecchia, next to Rome. So this is a picture from 2014, and this is how it would look like when operational. And there are also possibility to have a hybrid system with a combination from SynPower installed in Greece with a prototype that combines wave energy, which are the yellow buoy, with floating solar PV panels, so they can be installed offshore, and also in the final version with the offshore wind turbines installed on top of them. So this is a picture of the prototype from installed in Greece. Or again, this is a picture for combined offshore wind and aquaculture, which is also another big research topic and opportunity to combine different uses of maritime space, and creating synergies. You can see also offshore wind, a picture here of the test site. And again, another fancier and more creative device like called the WaveSAX, obviously for the shape that looks like a sax, which is an oscillating water column. It has also been tested offshore. So we can see this was a really quick glance of how the technology can be diverse and how they have been tested in the water. With this slide, I'm showing you the Blue Deal project has just came to an end, which is an Interreg Mediterranean project to promote blue energy. And you can see these 12 snapshots are pictures of 12 municipalities spread around the Mediterranean Sea. You can see Italy, Spain, Cyprus, Greece, Croatia, Albania. They are all wanted to install wave energy in their harbors, in their ports, to provide clean energy to their communities. So the Blue Deal project created a bridge between the developers and the communities. And they also had very large survey for public acceptance, and it was discovered that the public acceptance for blue energy is over 70%, which is actually well above expectations. So it means that the work for ocean literacy that we have been doing, it's working out, and blue innovation is wanted by the population, especially in coastal areas. And finally, I'm showing you another projects and other activities from the European Commission, which is to drive the energy transition of remote islands that are not connected to the grid. So the decarbonization and the energy transition is paramount for them, and we are part of this. And these are a couple of pictures from Pantelleria, which is included in these monitored islands. And the way we take things on are with a participative process. So there's a continuous communication with the whole community of the island, because the transition must be inclusive and must engage with the community. It should not just be a technology development. So in conclusion, this was a very quick overview of what marine energy is, and it has a huge potential, and there's a very large momentum and development going on. And we must foster the promotion, and we must include the society at all levels to have a wider acceptability and to boost the development. So with this, I thank you, and I'm open for questions in the chat.
Thank you so very much. This was really insightful, and it was so nice to see concrete projects happening already, because I think still people are perceiving energy coming from the ocean as something that is still to be developed. So I think it was really nice to see it concretely done and all over Europe. Thanks so much, Giuseppe.
Thank you.
So now I'm really happy to give the floor to Celia Tellier. I hope I pronounce it well, from Blue Generation Project. She's also going to talk about how we can engage youth and how issues like the ones we have been talking until now can offer an opportunity for jobs And she's also part of the EU for Ocean coalition. She got, the project got an award at the last European Maritime Day. So Celia, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much for inviting me. I hope you can hear me correctly. Yes, let me quickly share my screen. Can you see this?
Yes, we do.
Oops, but I can't. Oops. Sorry. I can't see my screen. It's paused. Sorry for this. Share. Can you see it now?
Yes, we do.
Okay. Okay. I don't know how to do this now because. Okay. Right. Okay. You're still seeing it?
Yes, we do.
Sorry. Okay. I think I'm right now. Okay. Yes, I'm here for the Blue Generation Project, and the Blue Generation Project is a project which has been funded by the EEA and Norway grants for youth employment. And I would like to tell you a little bit about how we are working and connecting young people to ocean energy. We are a consortium of 7 youth organizations from Bulgaria, Greece, Portugal, Romania, and Spain. And we also have 4 blue economy experts from Belgium, Germany, and Norway. And this is a long-term project. We started already in June 2018, and we will work until January 2024. After that, we will not stop. The idea is to transform the project into a federation by the end of the year, and that we will welcome blue economy experts and youth organizations as members. This process will be started at an international conference, which we will hold in Palma de Mallorca, and you can see a QR code where you can scan details about that. We are also, as Francesca said already, we are members of the EU for Ocean community, which has given us a lot of good network and contacts and visibility. And for those who don't know this initiative, it is by now having a platform with 130 members, and it has 3 different branches, which are the platform, the Youth for Ocean, and the Blue Schools. And it has 130 members in the platform, 222 young advocates for youth, and 127 Blue Schools so far. It has also, it's working in 3 thematic groups, which is the ocean and the climate, food and ocean, health and clean ocean, and it works across 5 sea basins, which is the Baltic, the Black and the Mediterranean, and the Arctic and North Sea, and the North Sea is connected to the Atlantic Ocean. And as Francesca said nicely, we have been awarded the EU for Ocean in Action Award just recently at the European Maritime Day, and you see us here with some of our youth. Let me just tell you a little bit more about the project itself. The aim of the Blue Generation Project is to inspire and engage young people between 15 and 29 years to pursue a sustainable career in the blue economy. For that, we are visiting schools, youth organizations, NGOs that are engaged in labor insertion, employment agencies, and vet schools and universities. What we are doing is we are promoting to these young people education, training, jobs, and internship opportunities in the blue economy. And we have so far reached over 40,000 young people through our promotional visits, through websites and social media campaigns. We have involved over 17,000 youth and over 350 educational institutions and more than 500 blue economy companies. And we found jobs, training, and or internships in the blue economy for over 2,500 youth so far. Now, what we do is we divide the blue economy into 8 subsectors, which are these here, you can see, so coastal tourism, ocean literacy, maritime transport, fisheries, shipbuilding and maintenance, maritime biotechnology, ocean energy, and aquaculture. And the blue energy is one of these 8 sectors. And what we are explaining to these young people is that we're once, I mean, I'm glad the previous speaker spoke to about the different ocean energy parts, because we are talking about classic ocean energy, such as tidal, wave, current, osmosis, and ocean thermal energy. But we also include here the wind energy as it is part of the maritime environment, because the focus is also to tell young people about sustainable energy sources and jobs in these sectors. Also, it's more the offshore wind energy sector which offers to our primary target group of needs and disadvantaged youth possible jobs and employment opportunities, because the qualification and training and work opportunities are generally, well, are mixed, but they also, this sector also offers a lot more jobs in the lower qualification sectors. Whereas, as we heard before, the wave and tidal energy is still very much in the research phase, meaning that it's more for university students and higher qualified young people who we are also targeting, but we are more concentrating on the disadvantaged youth. We very consciously do not promote, as you might wonder, any offshore oil and gas, because what we want to bring across to the young people is that we are emphasizing renewable energy sectors which offer sustainable future employment for these young people. This is, for example, a typical slide which we are using during our school promotions and when we go into other organizations. And we inform them about the different varieties and opportunities they have in education. And what we, for example, are promoting with regard to ocean energy is that offshore wind directly employs around 210,000 persons at the moment and is estimated to employ up to 350,000 by 2030. That the European ocean energy companies are being considered as global leaders, and that offshore wind sector is representing 51% of the total wind energy employment. We're also telling them that maritime wind, tide, and wave energies are creating new jobs, and that these new branches will need many young people with ideas and enthusiasm, and ensure that maritime and wind energy sector is going to create huge career options for them. And so apart from sort of doing direct talks with young people in our promotional visits, we are using the following means to connect to the young people to the blue economy, which are, oops. For example, our Blue Career Guide, which we have in a printed version, but also as an online version with expanded information. We give these out to all our presentations and direct talks. And then we also have a YouTube channel where we show role models and success stories in short videos. We have a MOOC, the Blue Generation MOOC, which provides a bit of a deeper insight into the different blue economy subsectors, and each chapter, there's each one chapter for each of these 8 blue economy sectors. And speaking to all of you, we would be very grateful if you want to have a look, if you would like to get engaged, if you're an expert in ocean energy, we would like your feedback, and if you could provide us with other text or links. There were very interesting projects in the previous speakers, which would be brilliant to have in our MOOC and present to young people. We also have the Blue Career Job Platform. You see the URL here, where we are offering jobs, training, and internships, and which also has a section on ocean energy. And again, speaking to you, I would like to take this opportunity to ask you if you have any position or any training, internship, please contact us so we can publish it or start an own account on it, publish offers directly. Many of our young people would be very keen to have internships in this really exciting sector. And I promise that we would promote it to thousands of young people. Thank you very much. This is all from my side. Here you can see all our details again and the QR code for the conference. We would love to see you end of September in Palma de Mallorca and to get in contact with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so very much, Celia. It was really, really interesting. And also from my point of view, really interesting to see how this coalition has been helping different sectors and institutions to get together. So my invite also to the others who are following us in this webinar to join the EU for Ocean coalition, and also to Gianmaria, and to Giuseppe and Davide to get in touch with Celia if you think that you can, as she said, offer interesting opportunity for young people, because one of the objectives is also to promote skilled young people in the blue economy. So right now, please remember that you can also put questions in the Q&A box, but also we are happy to have a video from Andy Kontodakis from the European Commission Directorate General for Maritime Affairs, who has a message for all of us. So I ask to show Andy's video.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear participants, thank you for the opportunity to be part of your discussion and celebrate with you World Ocean Day on the occasion of this webinar, organized by IOC UNESCO within the EU for Ocean Coalition for Ocean Literacy Framework and as an officially endorsed United Nations Ocean Decade activity. This webinar, it must have already been mentioned and it will be mentioned again, marks the countdown for the UN Ocean Conference that will be held in Lisbon, soon upon us at the end of this month. I will first try and remind of our EU headline objectives under the European Green Deal to become climate neutral by 2050 and the ambitious policy goals in what is fight against climate change and decarbonization objectives and the relevant policies under it. The EU has raised its 2030 climate ambition, committing to cutting emissions by at least 55% by 2030 through the famous Fit for 55 package, as you all know already. For renewable energy, this means increasing the previous objective of renewable energy in EU consumption to 40% by 2030. Therefore, we will need to move even faster and at a larger scale to energy systems based on renewable energy. The important role of renewables, the ambition and the implementation of the Fit for 55 proposals, therefore, become more crucial in the context of the current geopolitical crisis. Enter the REPower EU plan that calls for front-loading and increasing renewables deployment as a way to phase out EU independence on Russian fossil fuels. Massive and accelerated deployment of renewables is at the heart of this initiative. The plan proposes actions on renewables and initiatives that can facilitate the deployment and calls for rapid action. So, to become carbon neutral in a nutshell, we need clean and renewable energy. Through offshore wind, wave, or tidal energy, ocean can deliver that. And this is what we call blue energy. With the aspiration and plans for ramping up renewable energy production, that gives us the freedom to choose an energy source that it is clean, cheap, reliable, and ours, and the blue economy playing an equally important role, both of them as key elements of the European Green Deal, offshore renewable energy production is set to steeply increase. The European clean energy industry has a key role in this accelerated transition, and its contribution will be vital to deliver and integrate the volumes of renewable energy required to achieve the REPower EU objectives and the European Green Deal aims to deliver reliable, affordable, sustainable, clean energy for all. You have heard already the representatives of the clean energy industry in this panel and the Ocean Energy Co-Chair of the SET Plan, an initiative that I'm happy to say I have personally dealt with in the past, mention the breakthroughs, the needs, the potential of clean energy generation in the future. I am sure that it has become quite clear that a sufficient number of staff with the necessary skills, particularly in technical and STEM fields, will be critical to ensure a fast, steady, and equitable deployment of clean energy solutions, and to make sure that this is done in a timely and professional way, both upstream and downstream in the value chain. Shortage of skills and lack of an adequate workforce in the various segments of clean energy technologies value chains could disrupt heavily the necessary pace for development of renewable energy, and thus put at risk the aspirations of the European Green Deal, our energy and climate policies, our action plans, the REPower EU goals, and also the proposed EU renewable energy targets for 2030. Most EU coastal member states now envisage to develop offshore wind capacity in their waters, including in the Mediterranean and the Black Sea. Innovation and new technologies will play a key role, in particular for floating offshore wind, wave, and tidal energy. But ramping up clean energy production needs to find the right balance with our commitment to also protect 30% of the seas by 2030. We need to see closely to the expansion of offshore renewable energy and other existing uses of the sea for economical and recreational activities. In this sense, sustainability is key. Balance between decarbonization and biodiversity is key. With an increasing demand for maritime space, there is a need for strategic analysis and planning to ease these interactions between offshore energy, the marine environment, fisheries, and all other users and stakeholders of the sea. Maritime spatial planning is a key tool to ensure that activities promoting the development of the blue economy are carried out correctly and with a minimal impact on the marine environment. But to achieve all this, what is very necessary to have as a basis is awareness, first and foremost. This is something that usually stems from citizens that are ocean aware, that are ocean literate. And this is where ocean literacy comes into play. And knowledge and awareness of the opportunities lying in areas of activities such as those opened up by our sustainability drive comes into play. This knowledge and this awareness needs to be more present. Engagement needs to be more prominent. Let me first say that one crucial element to achieve ocean sustainability is in fact engaging with all the peoples of Europe, engage with the citizens themselves that operate in, for, or just enjoy the benefits of a healthy ocean. We consult citizens and stakeholders before every policy initiative. We seek their buy-in in new areas of activity, and we run several forums for dialogue and ocean literacy actions. We especially look to the younger generation too, because the vision of our future is the vision shared by the younger generation mostly. Let me explain now the reason we need to increase ocean literacy. We cannot take for granted that people are fully aware of how much we benefit from and depend on the ocean, how much the ocean can make our livelihoods better. We need then to mobilize people and, as I mentioned, make them aware. And we have already a success story in this, the EU4Ocean Coalition. And the work of the coalition is a proof of the action we need to take. Because there we mobilize diverse communities. We engage with the wider public, we engage with stakeholders, from scientists to youth, from ocean advocates to school children in blue schools. We run through the coalition also a pledging campaign, the Make EU Blue campaign. There, we ask people to commit to an everyday habit, a change of attitude towards the ocean. Every action, even the smallest one, brings change to the ocean. This is our motto, and we hold it dearly. In the framework of the coalition, we have met various times in the past as well, in the various sea basins, giving the opportunity for joint activities and actions to spring. Now, and for the UN conference, we have equally proposed a side event dedicated to ocean literacy to highlight its importance when it comes to the actions we take to preserve the health of the new one and only ocean. I do hope this side event gives people the chance to debate ocean literacy actions we can pursue in the future, and that we can benefit the planet, the decarbonization effort ahead of us, and the ocean contribution to it. We have set a vision for the EU to be a global leader in driving ocean sustainability in line with the European Green Deal. And the most crucial element for achieving such sustainability in the blue economy is engage with the citizens themselves that operate in, for, or just enjoy the benefits of a healthy blue economy. This is why ocean literacy is intrinsically linked to the discussions here today. And this is why we will pursue this discussion on the 29th of June in Lisbon. Thank you again for giving me the opportunity to intervene, and stay tuned for the UN conference at the end of this month and the activities surrounding it.
Thank you so very much, Andy, for delivering this message about the EU policy, about the EU4Ocean Coalition, and about what we're going to do in a few days in Lisbon. I see no question. I leave time for a couple of time for question. I have one question because Giuseppe partially touched upon that. Giuseppe, are you still with us?
Yes.
How can we, because you mentioned that, and it was really interesting to hear that, people are inclined, and the population of the coastal villages you mentioned are inclined to see these projects being developed. But still, I hear a lot of, people maybe not really understanding the full potential of this project. So do you think we can, as an ocean literacy community, do something more to make these projects more acceptable?
Yeah, absolutely. So those results, just for reference, they've been done by the Blue Deal project. So it's this Interreg project. So they are publicly available. With actually just a report with all the data and statistics inside. So you could reference that and use that also in the future for leveraging the need for actions. And I think that it is very important to include the public, both in coastal regions, but all in general, nationwide, also in landlocked region, to communicate what the blue energy potential is already at a very early stage. So in the past, just 5 years ago, 10 years ago, we had experienced projects that were ready to be installed, very advanced projects with a lot of investment, but they've been blocked because the local population was not involved at all, and they were not okay with that, and they opposed the public politicians and municipalities, and they had to stop projects worth millions and millions with 10 years of work behind, just because they never had the thoughts to include the population first. So we, as a field, we learned that lesson the hard way, and now it's more widespread from the technology side to involve the population early in the project. On the other hand, if it comes already from third parties, so not from technology developers, but from schools and government institutions, and there is an education from zero without any clear interest behind it, so they're kind of a neutral party that foster the use of clean energy also from the ocean, then the acceptance is going to be much easier, because they will be more confident that it is actually something good. Overall, is not something that is claimed to be good because it's my interest to install my own device, both for research or for industry. So it must be a common and joint effort from all the directions, and then the acceptability will surely increase.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I have a question for Celia. An attendee is asking how youth can be more aware of the job post mentioned, and there is any limit of age?
Well, for our project itself, we are working with 15 to 30-year-old young people. But if they are older a bit, it's not the problem. We're not denying them any access. All our tools are for free. Our website, I can put that into the chat again, in our job platform. It's all for free to use, to post jobs and to find jobs. And if you are interested in, for example, us doing presentations, I don't know where you are from now. We are working in certain countries, so that's not a problem. But if it is in English, we can also do presentations in other countries. We probably would struggle. I could do German, but we would struggle with Italian, for example. But yes, contact us and we see what we can do.
Thank you, Celia. Unfortunately, I couldn't see where the speaker was, the attendee was writing from, but if you could again, yes, please put in the chat all the links so that the participants can have a better idea also on how to take the information and eventually to contact you. I see no further question, so I really thank all the speakers for having been with us. I really would like to also thank the attendee here in Zoom and in YouTube. I've been following also that other channel and saw that there were many other people following. So thank you all for having been with us for the World Oceans Day. Please remember that we are going to see each other in a few days in Lisbon at the UN Ocean Conference. this is really a very, very important opportunities for all of us working for the ocean, coming from the academia, the private sector, the civil society, really to join forces, to work together, and to have the chance also to define a roadmap for the next years up to the next UN Ocean Conference, where we would really like to see ocean literacy featuring more prominently in the program. As it was mentioned by Andy, we are having a joint IOC UNESCO EU for Ocean European Commission side event on the 29th of June for all those who are going to be there in Lisbon, but we are also going to live stream the event, and we will be soon also telling you how you can join with your ideas, with your insights on how we can really move forward. I think this community, I keep on saying this, also looking at the last UN Ocean Conference, this community has been achieving great things, including the EU for Ocean Coalition, as it was mentioned, and increasing, every day increasing Blue Schools network, a lot of youth participating, being active, and knowing that there are a lot of opportunities for them in the blue economy, in sustainability of the ocean. So I think we will be able in Lisbon to really advance and make a clear roadmap from now to the next UN Ocean Conference. So the next element in the program here is a format developed by the Italian chapter of the Ocean Decade that we call Decennio del Mare. We're going to have a blue aperitif, which is a format that we have developed to interview young scientists and to let other young people understand how exciting it is to become a scientist, a marine scientist. And we're going to do this in a very open and easy way. So I hope also people who are not with us in Venice will join us, because we're going to live stream the event, which is going to happen from the Hotel Cadidio here in Venice. And we're going to have Diana Del Bufalo, an actress and singer, interviewing Marta Musso, who you have heard before, a young marine biologist who is part of our big community. So again, if you want to follow us, stay on YouTube. And in the meantime, we are very happy to have a number of friends of the ocean, friends of the World Oceans Day, friends of the UN Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development, who have sent us some videos. And first of all, I'm kind of even moved to say that Dr. Jane Goodall sent us a video. She's the founder of the Jane Goodall Institute and UN Messenger of Peace. On the occasion of World Oceans Day 2022, at the Jane Goodall Institute of India are launching today their Oceans Are Us program. The Ocean Are Us is a program of the Jane Goodall's Roots and Shoots that fosters an openness of heart and mind for young learners with compassion and consciousness, and in doing so, stimulates their lifelong connection with the magnificence of the ocean. Oceans Are Us is an educational program designed to collaborate with local educational institutions and their communities and like-minded national, regional, and global programs interested in helping young people create an emotional connection to it. So again, we are really, really proud to have this message from Dr. Jane Goodall. There will be many more other messages from friends, from passionate about the ocean. So please stay with us. And we also hope to see you later for our blue aperitif to keep on celebrating World Oceans Day 2022, and then see you in Lisbon. Thank you so much.
As most of you probably know, I've spent an awful lot of time in terrestrial forests, mostly during the many years I was studying chimps in Tanzania. And by the way, that study is still going on, and we just celebrated our 60th birthday, or 60th anniversary, I should say. So why am I involved with oceans, some of you may be wondering. Well, I grew up close to the English Channel, and I loved the sea in all her moods, but most especially when storms caused huge waves to smash against the shore and spray was blown far inland. I loved the rock pools and all the varied creatures I found there. And later, in Dar es Salaam in Tanzania, I spent hours snorkeling among the coral reefs. Forests and oceans, as you know, are the two great lungs of the world, absorbing CO2 from the atmosphere and giving out oxygen. And it's not only on land that there are forests. The great kelp forests of the ocean in some places sequester more CO2 than the terrestrial forests. And the two are linked by the mangrove forests that grow in salt water and play such an important role in protecting coastal land from rising seawaters and mitigate the devastating effect of tsunamis and rising sea levels. And then there are the seagrasses that, like terrestrial grasslands, absorb huge amounts of CO2. I'm told that oceans, through evaporation, provide us with much of the rain that falls on land. The rest of our rain comes from inland waters and evaporation from forests and woodlands, especially tropical rainforests, which are, of course, being destroyed at an alarming rate around the world. Sadly, during my 87 years on planet Earth, human activities have polluted and acidified the oceans. Agricultural, industrial, and household wastes have been washed down the rivers into the sea. For years, garbage and human waste has been dumped into the once pure water of the oceans. Many oil tankers have cleaned out their tanks at sea, and there have been devastating oil spills, many not reported. In addition, there's been a huge increase in shipping, and the noise pollution and low-frequency sonar as used by the Navy must make underwater world hell for those animals living there. As oceans absorb more carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, generated by our reckless use of fossil fuels and destruction of forests, the ocean becomes acidified, and this changes the chemistry of the water, which sometimes means that corals and mollusks are unable to build their shells. Commercial fishing, the use of drift nets, long lines, gill nets, and bottom trawling is driving many fish close to extinction. The massive capture of tropical fish for aquaria is another problem. Thousands of wild-caught individuals die. Finally, the death toll of marine species who are caught up in nets and abandoned fishing line is shocking and includes fish and other creatures caught that are of no commercial value: dolphins, whales, sea turtles, and seabirds. All of this is affecting the complex tapestry of life below the surface and driving so many species towards extinction. And of course, all of this affects the lives of people who've traditionally relied on the ocean for their food. The climate crisis causes the water to warm, and this, along with the melt from polar ice and glaciers, has caused sea levels to rise, and this is forcing some people from their homes, particularly on islands. If we continue this violation of our oceans, rivers, and lakes, as well as terrestrial ecosystems, our future is doomed. But there is hope. There's more awareness today about how we're harming the planet and how this has led to climate change and loss of biodiversity. There are more people realizing that disrespecting the natural world and animals has caused the problems we face today. There's a major effort now to plant trees and restore and protect terrestrial forests. The JGI youth program Roots and Shoots, for example, has planted millions of trees in around 60 countries around the globe. And this includes many groups working on restoring and protecting mangrove forests in many countries. And more people want help. We're bombarded by the media with so much doom and gloom that many people are losing hope. I just wish the media would give equal space to all the wonderful things going on. For example, new technology is enabling scientists to discover bizarre creatures living at great depths in the ocean. We know almost nothing about what other wonders are living down in that black world. And there's still so much to learn about the intelligence of fish, octopuses, and other sea life. And incidentally, I was fascinated to read just yesterday that discovery has been made beneath the waters off Western Australia. A meadow of seagrass stretching more than 110 miles is actually one single plant that has spent the past 4,500 years cloning itself to carpet an area of 80 square miles. So on this World Ocean Day, let us celebrate the wonder of the ocean and think about what we can do as individuals to protect it. There are many ways. It will depend on where you are on this day, but look out for groups that are collecting trash, cleaning up rivers, and protecting sea turtle areas where they lay their eggs. There are so many projects that are working to save our oceans. Find out about what's going on locally, and very often you can find out from our Roots and Shoots groups in the area. And as I say, we're in over 80 countries. So on this International World Ocean Day, let's celebrate the wonder. There's still so much that's beautiful out there. Let's work together to save it. Thank you.
Oggi 8 giugno è la giornata mondiale dell'oceano e in qualche modo bisogna recuperare i nostri mari, sappiamo che l'oceano è molto importante. Io come impegno personale mi impegno a non mangiare pesce per i prossimi 2 mesi almeno, diminuire molto comunque il consumo di pesce secondo me è una delle classificazioni che possiamo fare noi singolarmente, perché comunque la pesca intensiva è uno dei primi problemi dei nostri mari.
In principio, forse è così che deve cominciare una storia del mare, perché qualsiasi storia che intenda raccontare l'oceano e intenda raccontarlo tutto, deve fare i conti con un tempo vertiginoso, quello della storia della geologia del nostro pianeta. E dunque in principio va bene. Quando il mare per la prima volta, 4 miliardi di anni fa, si affacciò sullo spazio del pianeta, da quel momento in poi è successo di tutto. E quel poco che ci riguarda occupa l'ultima parte di una storia immensa del mondo. Ma prima ci sono stati animali che ci hanno ben preceduto, ci sono stati dinosauri, ci sono stati trilobiti ancora prima, c'è stato un mondo acquatico di cui non abbiamo neanche percezione. E ho provato a raccontare anche questo, nella convinzione profonda che ci appartenga, e ci appartenga dall'origine. Una storia del mare deve parlare insomma degli animali che l'hanno vissuto, delle rocce che l'hanno delimitato, delle onde, del vento, e poi naturalmente, chiaro, certo, deve parlare degli uomini. e di quando gli uomini cominciarono ad affacciarsi a quell'immensità blu provando a vincerla, provando a navigarla, provando a sfruttarne le ricchezze che quell'immensità donava loro. E così i pesci, così i coralli, e così le conchiglie, e tutto quanto affiorava da quel mare. E poi furono i tempi delle navi, delle triremi dei greci, delle grandi scommesse del commercio che non solo riguardava piccoli spazi come il nostro, relativamente angusto Mediterraneo, ma riguardava anche gli oceani, almeno le fasce costiere, e vennero i tempi delle grandi esplorazioni inevitabilmente. E a quel punto bisogna fare i conti, certo, con i nomi, Colombo, Magellano, Vasco da Gama, ma bisogna fare i conti anche e soprattutto con le piccole cose, sul come ad esempio si formi un linguaggio che parli di mare. Cos'è una prua, cos'è una poppa? Beh, quella è la cosa più semplice. In realtà ci sono problemi di velature, di sartiami, di enormi navi che crescono, più cresce l'ambizione dell'uomo. E quella è la storia del mare, quella dei pirati e quella dei nostri sogni anche, quella dei sogni di spazi che diventano possibili poco alla volta, e più diventano possibili, più obbligano anche a misurarsi con le nostre conoscenze, perché il mare, proprio per la sua immensità, sin dall'inizio è stato il mondo dei nostri sogni, di esseri mostruosi, di esseri giganteschi e paurosi, le sirene, il kraken, e più si avanzava in quel mare, più i sogni poco alla volta si delimitavano, si restringevano in uno spazio della nostra mente che comunque va raccontato, è fatto di libri, è fatto di musiche, di quadri e di tutto quello che abbiamo provato a descrivere immaginando quell'immensità. E poi ci sono inevitabilmente i mari recenti, quelli che sono fatti, ahimè, anche della nostra prevaricazione nei confronti dell'ambiente, quelli che sono fatti di una conquista sistematica dello spazio, anche militare naturalmente, e poi di un controllo di quello spazio, sempre più capillare, e naturalmente, oltre al controllo, lo sfruttamento. È una storia antica anche questa, e anche di questo si deve parlare, perché da quando pescavamo merluzzi negli spazi del nord dell'Atlantico ne è passato di tempo. Abbiamo devastato tante cose e stiamo continuando a farlo, e vale la pena metterci un accento. Una storia del mare ha bisogno proprio di questo ora, ricordarci da dove veniamo, ricordarci chi siamo e qual è il nostro obbligo nei confronti dell'ambiente che ci ha cresciuto. Imparare a riconoscerla quella storia, imparare a ripercorrerla attraverso barche, eventi, ma anche animali, appunto, è il primo passo per imparare a rispettarlo.
Giugno, festa dell'oceano, festa in cui bisognerebbe passare dai festeggiamenti ai fatti, perché gli oceani, il mare, sono sempre più in difficoltà. Il progetto Mediterranea continua con il suo lavoro, persone qualunque che però mettono a disposizione tempo, risorse e impegno per evitare di fare le gente comune come è fin troppo facile fare. Cerchiamo di essere speciali, perché speciale è il mare, speciale è il problema, ed è importante che ce ne occupiamo tutti quanti. Festa degli oceani, che sia un'occasione per ripensare quello che non facciamo e quello che potremmo fare per il mare.
Per il Mar Tirreno.
Per il mare Adriatico.
Per il Mare Ionio.
Per il Mar Nero.
Per il Mar di Levante.
Per il Mare Egeo.
Per il Mar Mediterraneo.
Per l'oceano.
Hello, my name is Tommaso Biancardi and I'm the editor of The Passenger, a series of book magazines published by the independent Italian publishing house Iperborea. Each issue of The Passenger normally focuses on a country or a city and collects literary essays and reportage about that particular place's contemporary life. For our 20th issue, we wanted to do something different, a special issue, not on a country or a city, but this time on the ocean, in a partnership with UNESCO's Ocean Decade, to be released on World Ocean Day this 8th of June. The goal was to look at the ocean as a real and tangible place, as opposed to the abstract way in which we tend to look at it, and to highlight the importance of the ocean for the entire planet, and for the existences of those human and non-human animals and plants who live on and off it. The 9 essays this issue of The Passenger contains, accompanied by specially commissioned photographs, by infographics and extra material ranging from book recommendations to playlists, encompass a wide range of stories, of issues, of points of view. The iconic oceanographer Sylvia Earle, interviewed by marine biologist Kerstin Forsberg, sets the tone by presenting the many challenges the ocean faces, from climate change to the loss of biodiversity, while at the same time insisting on the reasons for hope and a deep sense of wonder and a need for empathy. In other essays, we explore the lives of people who have chosen a seaborne existence, from the new nomads of the sea who live on their sailing boats, to offshore oil riggers whose relationships on land are intimately linked with the state of the sea. We meet illegal fishermen and the activists who chase after them between the icebergs of the Antarctic Ocean. We climb aboard a massive container ship en route from Southampton in the UK to Singapore to understand how globalization works. We talk of waves, large and small, and of the Polynesians who have crisscrossed the largest ocean of all, just by learning to read the waves and occasionally surf them. With the great Italian sailor Giovanni Soldini, we experience an Atlantic crossing in the throes of the mighty Gulf Stream. And in the Azores, we dive into the Azure Ocean with a pod of whales, with the British writer and whale enthusiast Philip Hoare. Throughout all this, we take in the environmental, the economic, political, legal, social aspects of life in, on, and around the sea, the ocean. One of the many takeaways is that there's nothing more important to our planet and our lives on it than this mass of water about which we still know relatively little. Learning about it, and more importantly, learning to care about it, can make all the difference for the future of our species, indeed all the species on this planet.
I'm Alvaro Soler, and today's World Ocean Day. And the ocean is very important to me because I grew up in a town called Barcelona next to the Mediterranean Sea. So, the city wouldn't be the same without the ocean, and the whole world wouldn't be the same without the ocean, because 71% of the Earth is actually made of ocean. So, I encourage everyone in such a special day as today to take care of the ocean, take care of plastic, stuff that doesn't need to be there, stuff that doesn't belong in the water. Just don't put it there. Take it with you if you see it. And remember, we are ocean and I am ocean.
Hi, my name is Luca Dini. I am the editor-in-chief of Natural Style magazine. I was born and raised in this Italian valley, and even this little creek over here is part of the one ocean connecting us all and giving us all life. This is why I'm particularly proud to celebrate World Ocean Day with our special ocean issue, the second we produce for Ocean Decade with UNESCO. I'm very grateful to UNESCO and Francesca Santoro for helping us tell the story of all the ongoing efforts to save the ocean and what we can all do as citizens, individual consumers, to make the right choices and take the right action to help achieve the goal. One big blue issue for one big blue planet. I am ocean.
big. I want to be a fisherman, and I want to eat fresh fish all the time. When I grow up, I want to be an oceanographer to study where the waves come from. I will be a sailor to travel the world. Quand je serai grand, je voudrais être biologiste marin pour protéger les tortues ou de créatures marines.
Sustaining and preserving the ocean will depend on the next generation of ocean professionals. They are the future of our planet ocean. But how can we make these kids' dreams come true? Are we really aware of how our day-to-day actions affect the ocean? It's 2004. In the United States, a group of ocean scientists and education professionals start to work to develop a framework to encourage the inclusion of ocean sciences into national and state standards, and for more teaching about the ocean in classrooms at all levels. This is how the ocean literacy movement was born. Since then, it has spread quickly through the development of marine science educators associations in Canada, Australia, Pacific regions, Europe, and Asia. These associations are consistently promoting, through collaborative and bottom-up processes, the inclusion of ocean literacy in formal and informal education. Scientists, educators, teachers, artists, journalists, governments, and the private sector have risen to the occasion and given life to a global network that converts ocean knowledge into action. Regions, countries, and cities are stepping up to experiment new ways of bringing ocean literacy into every citizen's life. Portugal translated the Ocean Literacy Essential Principles in 2011. The European Union, Canada, and the United States elevated ocean literacy as one of the cooperation priorities. In 2013, the Galway Statement on Atlantic Ocean Research was signed. Supporting the implementation of the Galway Statement led to two Horizon 2020 projects, Sea Change Project and Responsible, aiming to make European citizens more ocean literate. Canada co-developed by Canadians for Canadians through a community-driven engagement process in which over 400 organizations and more than 3,000 Canadians participated in the country's ocean literacy strategy. Australia has hosted since 1988 a Sea Week to promote ocean literacy in the country. Combining its global expertise in ocean science, culture, and education, UNESCO has led ocean literacy efforts around the world. Presented in 2017 at the first UN Ocean Conference, the UNESCO's Ocean Literacy for All initiative paved the way for the launch of the Global Ocean Literacy Portal, the publication of a toolkit for schools tested in 36 countries around the world, and the organization of an international ocean literacy conference held in the UNESCO office in Venice. This International Ocean Literacy Conference was a true milestone for the ocean literacy community, which started calling on governments to join the movement. The Blue Schools Network, promoted by the Portuguese Ministry of the Sea, the European Coalition, EU for Ocean, launched by the European Commission, the first ever ocean literacy law, approved by the city of Santos in Brazil, the first city in the world to establish ocean literacy as a public policy. Ocean literacy ambitions continue to grow, and the Ocean Literacy with All initiative is now underway to meet one of the major challenges of the UN Ocean Decade: reshape humanity's relationship with the ocean. Ocean Literacy with All wants to advance ocean literacy through international partnerships and networks, implementing transformative local and global activities and projects by and for diverse stakeholders. From grassroots initiatives to international, regional, and national initiatives, the Ocean Literacy Moment has arrived. The Intergovernmental Oceanographic Commission of UNESCO has launched a proposal for a new blue curriculum, addressing learners' core knowledge related to marine science, and also providing the tools needed to turn the next generation into ocean stewards. A true Generation Ocean.
Quand je serai grande, je voudrais être enseignante pour amener de l'océan dans ma classe.
We look to connect more people with the ocean, bringing the opportunity to discover how amazing it is and how much we, as humans, rely on it.
As humans, we are naturally inclined to defend and nurture things that we hold close to our hearts.
The ocean is my confidant, my constant companion, my teacher and healer.
The ocean brings me peace and healing. The ocean has taught me community, the meaning of it, as well as its invaluable worth.
We need to come together from citizens to institutions worldwide. We can and should all take part.
But continuing to educate people and divulgate and communicate knowledge about the sea, because only what we know we can love and protect.
Sono legato al mare per le sensazioni e le emozioni che mi trasmette. C'è un senso di libertà e di pace che non trovo da nessun'altra parte.
Le giovani generazioni avranno il futuro e in qualche modo saranno i campioni di questo cambiamento che ci deve coinvolgere tutti.
Positive change usually comes from below, and any great project starts with a simple action.
Awareness leads to action, and at the outset of 2022, it is possible to observe the remedial action now underway.
The Ocean and Climate Village exhibition will bring you knowledge and emotions coming through your eyes by wonderful imagery and through your ears by sounds of the ocean. But expect even more. This is a place where you or your children can plunge into the ocean safely and be inspired. Your soul will open to the ocean of kind emotions. Come to the village.
Buonasera, benvenuti a tutti a Cadidio, dentro uno spazio rilassante, come lo potete vedere, è il nostro piccolo oasi di pace e di tranquillità. Questa sera siamo qui per diciamo, una giornata importante, che non dovrebbe essere una giornata, però dovrebbe essere un andamento continuo, però almeno spingiamo oggi questa giornata che diventa dopo ripetitiva e che diventa un elemento di ogni giorno. Oggi, come lo sapete, è la giornata del World Ocean Day. Ovviamente, essendo a Venezia, la parte che non è l'oceano polare, la laguna, siamo comunque dentro uno spazio anche molto molto delicato e trovo estremamente giusto di poter avere delle iniziative come questa e questa sera attraverso l'aperitivo blu e giustamente attraverso anche l'aiuto e il supporto di Francesca e dell'iniziativa per giustamente rimettere in piedi un progetto continuo che può anche essere portato e sviluppato con ragazzi giovani, perché penso che Venezia, il turismo, l'Italia, la laguna deve ripartire da giovani, anche noi un po' di meno, però possiamo aiutare questi giovani a giustamente riprendere delle abitudini giuste e importanti per continuare a salvare la nostra terra e la nostra acqua. Ripasso intanto a Francesca il microfono e ancora grazie mille per avervi qui questa sera.
Grazie mille. Thank you very much to the director of the Hotel Cadidio, and he welcomed us, and he's so happy to have us. He said a very true thing, that today is World Oceans Day, but it should be World Oceans Day every day. So I now invite my colleague, Jonathan Baker, who will speak on behalf of our director of the UNESCO Regional Bureau for Science and Culture in Europe.
Thank you very much, Francesca, and thank you very much, Director, for having us here in this beautiful place. I wanted to welcome everybody on behalf of Ana Luisa Thompson Flores, who is the Director of the Regional Bureau for Science and Culture, which is based here in Venice. Unfortunately, she couldn't be here with us today, but she wanted me to say a few words to welcome everybody, both here and online. I know that this is the third event that Francesca and her team are organizing today in the context of World Oceans Day here in Venice and online. And the last one, the one in presence, hybrid event. So yes, welcome everybody. And I'll pass the floor to Francesca to explain what the event consists of. Francesca?
Thank you so much, Jonathan. I'm now really happy to also welcome Massimiliano De Martin, Councillor for the Environment of the City of Venice, who is also here on behalf of the Mayor Luigi Brugnaro.
Grazie ad UNESCO per questo invito, ma grazie soprattutto per cogliere l'occasione per celebrare una ricorrenza come questa e quindi parlare del mare, degli oceani, proprio in un giorno dedicato anche a livello mondiale. Da pochi giorni si è concluso il Salone Nautico e non abbiamo parlato solo di cantieristica, di motoristica, ma abbiamo parlato proprio dell'impatto ambientale che le barche hanno di qualsiasi dimensione negli oceani e quindi nelle acque. Abbiamo lavorato moltissimo con i pescatori della nostra laguna, abbiamo lavorato moltissimo con le scuole, quindi il messaggio che deve passare è che ognuno di noi può fare la propria parte. Anche i comportamenti più semplici, più piccoli, sono quelli che possono portare a dei grandi risultati. Non inquiniamo, ricicliamo in modo sempre più corretto e portiamo il verbo ovunque con orgoglio, perché comunque anche Venezia, capitale mondiale della sostenibilità, passa anche attraverso questi eventi. Grazie a Cadidio che in tempi rapidissimi hanno recuperato questo fabbricato, è rimasto nelle disponibilità dell'ente, ma soprattutto è un luogo che si è aperto a tutti. Quindi grazie ancora e al prossimo anno.
Thank you. Thank you to the councillor of the city of Venice who said that we just closed a boat show here in Venice. It was not only like the occasion to show boats, but it was also important because the theme of sustainability was really key, and the city of Venice is the capital of sustainability. A foundation was just launched, and we work together very well. We work with schools, we work with citizens, with fishermen, really to promote sustainability throughout the year, as again, not only on this day, but on the 365 days. So I leave the floor again to the director, and then I'll introduce the event.
No, just sorry before you speak in Italian. Now I can do in English, which is better than my Italian anyway. No, what is extremely important, and I believe that what we've done here in at Cadidio during 2 years of works during the COVID, we had the opportunity to really apply what need or must be applied for the future of tourism or any other business, meaning respecting at most what is the local craftsman, respecting what is the materials, respecting what we've done here in terms of isolation, as much as the pumps to cool down the air conditioning, which is a machine which is taking the water on the side, the canal, and we re-clean the water so we don't use any drinkable water. We are not using plastic when it comes to water. We're using a filtered water that's we filled up the bottles. So we really went the whole way with our Restaurants Vero, which we are concentrating on 100% of all the products which come from fish, food, meat, vegetables. Everything is outside of Venice. The meat is from the Montello, so it's not a meat which is taken outside of the region. We focused on being Triveneto because we forget that Venice without the island, without the mainland, which is where everything comes. All the vegetables come from Sant'Erasmo. We don't produce vegetables in Venice itself, but Sant'Erasmo is Venice as well, or it's Triveneto, which I always like to say. And so I think it's always very, very important to continue to promote those elements, continue to promote families. We have tonight who is producing the prosecco that you're drinking, the Cusciol family, which those guys have been doing an incredible work of respecting the land, because again you're producing wine which are sold all over the world. So I always think it needs to go back to square one, back to families, back to companies such our company, which is really focused on the sustainability, because hotels, we all know, can produce and can be quite non-green. I think you can pay all the way. The shoes that I wear, as we've had to all the associates, which is shoes which is produced in Padova, which is not sustainable. It's recycled, but I think sometimes we forget to say that clothes or shoes that are already used, those shoes, when they're just not wearable anymore, we send them back and they're reused to redo other shoes. So basically you have a closed open circuit, a circle circuit, which really makes that used shoes is not thrown away, it's redoing another shoe. And I think that is a critical element. That's nobody forced us to do it. That's something that was really close to to my heart, to do it, to pass it on as well, to my two sons. They're 19, 20, and 14, and I think it's important that they breathe and live that every day, because they can speak to that with their friends, and they can really carry the word, because again that word need to be carried by the younger generations, school, university, and us. Because with all our associates, we push for it, and I think that it's really something that we need to continue. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much to the speakers who gave us some welcoming remarks, and again thanks to the Hotel Cadidio also for choosing truly to be sustainable. We really appreciate also the choice you made tonight regarding food, regarding drinking. It's really important to have this holistic approach to sustainability, so we do really appreciate that. And now we're going to start with our event. This is a special format that was developed together with our colleague Diana De Marsanic, Anne Peregrini, and Marc Tenier. Comes from an idea that I had inspired by the A Pint of Science, a format that is very popular in the UK, with a scientist meeting citizens in a pub to talk about science in an easy and accessible way. So we thought A Pint of Science in Italy doesn't work. So we thought maybe aperitif. And then we thought aperitif, blue aperitif. And so tonight we are really happy to have with us Diana Del Buffalo, actress and singer, who is going to interview Marta Musso, who is our first Donna di Mare, Woman of the Sea. So they are gonna talk and tell us how wonderful it is to be a marine scientist.
Not me, she's the marine biologist. Thank you everybody. Thank you for the people who are following us on, where are you? On the UNESCO and 10 giorni, come si chiama? Il decennio del mare. So on Facebook, on Instagram, right?
On YouTube too.
On YouTube too? Where? The 3? Where YouTube?
On UNESCO YouTube.
UNESCO YouTube. Nice. So Marta, hi. How are you?
I'm good.
You're so tanned. You're beautiful. Thank you for being here. I'm very honored because you're I don't know. They told me you're the most youngest marine biologist, and this is so cool. And thank you for taking care of our ocean because it's what you do. Now I'm going to tell you some questions because we can understand your work and what you do and what can all we do for the ocean, because it's a great part of our world, So, Marta, let's start with the totem, because a totem, it's an object you got with you today. What is it and what does it represent for you?
All right, so totem is a special object that really represents what you do, what you feel like, what's really like your passion and everything. So as soon as they told me you have to find a totem, I was like, well, I know it right, straight right. So what I have, and I have it right here, is a microscope.
Nice. Questo mi piace. I like it. It's this one? It's actually this one you use?
No. That's not the one I use. That's one, actually a friend of mine gave it to me, and it's a very old microscope they use in school. So it actually works, but it's not the one I use. The one I use is much bigger, is much heavier, but I wasn't going to take it.
Of course. How big is it? For more or less? Oh my God. Okay, yeah. Oh, it's heavy. I think it's heavy, right?
Very heavy, loads of lenses,
God.
kind of complicated.
Yes,
this is much easier, much nicer. Really
nice, very nice, very cute. Okay.
Anyway, so the most, sorry. The important thing of the microscope and the thing that I love the most is that it kind of lets you see what's not there, what you can't see, right? So it's kind of having a telescope that you can see and look at the stars and see like planets or see whatever it's in the universe. And it's so fascinating. It's like looking through different eyes, And then with a microscope, it's kind of the same concept, but with the sea. So you can put like a little drop of water just behind it, like below the lens, and you can see so much. You can see so much diversity, so much life, so much colors, and it just opens up the world,
It's like the plankton, no? The plankton is those little... No, because when I went to Maldives, they told me that plankton is inside the water. There's actually a super micro world of octopus, fishes and stuff. And they even told me that when you dived when you bathe and you swim in the ocean, you have sore ears because of the plankton. Is that right?
Yeah, sure.
That's why. Because when I swim a lot, I have all these...
all the plankton inside your ear, telling you all the stories about the sea. You can't hear
That's
anymore.
why the sea is in danger. Oh my God.
Hello, please help
us. Yes. And good, Marta, very nice. I want to ask you then, because I have many stories to tell you and I want to know. What is your profession and your field of competence? So what do you do?
All right,
actually?
so I just graduated actually.
24, 24 years old. Big applause. 24. Oh my God.
So yes, I just graduated. I'm a marine biologist, so I study the sea and the fishes and all that. And then I do like to draw, so I'm kind of an illustrator. Or I try. It's been a year or two. So I like to use some art stuff to explain science as well. And what I do is science communication. So I started with research and now I'm doing science communication. So trying to share my passion to everyone.
Yes, nice. Wow, illustrator. But did you draw your tattoo?
No, I wish.
Oh no, it's very nice. What is it? It's a whale?
So yeah, I have a sperm whale. Wow. Which gives me strength and also is like, it makes the loudest sound in the ocean. It's kind of like that powerful animal that, and they all go around in females group, which I really like.
I love it. So nice to see how many things we can understand and we can know with Marta. Fantastic. And what exactly? That's what did you? What brought you to this environment, to this work? What brought you to love ocean?
I was really lucky because I was born by the sea in Liguria, so it was super beautiful. And I was just, when I was little.
For the people who don't know, Liguria is a sea city.
It's in the north between France and Tuscany.
North of Italy. Okay.
That's the best sorry you can find.
Yeah. Oh my God, basilico, pesto, pasta.
All that. So yeah, I was really lucky. I was born by the sea. That was my playground. So when I was little, I would just like run around rocks and stuff and just look for any animals that were there, any critter that was hiding behind the rocks and stuff. So that was literally my playground. And then my grandparents, they were sailors. So I would go sailing and just like go out the sea. And I was literally immersed in the sea. And it was so beautiful. I don't know if you had the same experience in like when you were a kid, but
oh, me?
Yeah.
Well, yes, with my grandpa, he had a boat, and we always go to Isola del Giglio, Sardinia, and yes, I love diving and swimming. So yes, I love the ocean.
As soon as you dive in, you see this magical world.
Yes,
and you're like, wow, there's so many colors and creatures.
Exactly,
and it's so beautiful.
Exactly.
And from there, it started my passion, and then I grew up and I was studying and everything, but I had this like thing in my mind. I was like, I need to be a marine biologist. That's what I want to do.
Because you were curious.
Yeah, I just wanted to know. I wanted to know what was there and what else people didn't know about the sea, and I just wanted to explore it. I wanted to be a sea explorer or something. So that what brought me to studying marine biology, and I wanted to study in the UK. So. Okay. I went to Swansea University to study it.
You studied in the UK, in London, where?
No, in Swansea, which is Wales.
Swansea?
Yeah, it's like it's like the belly of the UK.
But north or south?
It's south.
South, capire. No, I'm not very good at geography, I'm sorry. And yes.
It's just above Cornwall.
Okay. Did you know English before?
A little bit, yeah. Because we have family friends in the UK, so I used to go there all the time.
Okay,
so I was lucky again.
Yeah,
but like Wales is so beautiful from the seaside. He's got amazing coastline. The tide range is just insane. So the sea goes out and.
Metti il microfono così, Marta. Indirizzalo.
I apologize if you can't hear me.
Okay.
But yeah, so then I studied, and then when I finished studying, actually during my study, I was doing an internship as well. So I spent 1 year in Portugal in a lab, and there where my passion for plankton began, because I was actually doing plankton identification. So I was studying, what I was doing, I was looking at the microscope and trying to identify all the plankton that was there. So kind of giving them names. So this is a giraffe, this is an elephant, this is a whatever, but with plankton. So you had to look closer and see who was there. And it just opened an incredible world, a macro world that no one can see and no one knows about. And it was just magical. So after that, I actually started doing science communication.
Very nice. Whales, they eat plankton, right? They don't eat fish. No, I'm sorry.
I don't
know. They told me this. No, no, do you know where? In Nemo, the movie, the Disney movie. That
Wales.
she's
Wait,
yes.
I was thinking of Welsh people, you know.
Oh, Welsh people. No. How can
I
you
don't know if
eat,
Welsh
how
people
can
eat
you
Welsh.
even eat plankton, right? Ah, griglia, come la fai?
I mean, algae you can eat, phytoplankton, which is microalgae you can eat.
Phytoplankton, yes.
That's really nutritious for you.
Yes,
as well.
yes.
Some plankton maybe you can eat, like krill, but
Krill.
No, but,
Yes, in the Nemo, she tells Nemo, say, because
but
they
yeah,
eat
whales,
krill.
like the swimming whales, they do eat plankton.
Okay,
they do.
okay.
Yeah,
They
they
do.
love it.
Perfect,
Everyone
thank
eats plankton, actually.
Sorry?
Everyone eats plankton. They love it.
Us too?
Yeah, us too.
Why?
I mean,
How come?
You eat it when you swim around accidentally, and then you eat it when you eat the fish. Because the fish, when it was a baby, it was a plankton, and then to grow up, he ate some plankton. So you are kind of eating plankton.
It's a circle.
We're all in a circle.
We're all, yes, we are all connected in a circle.
Yeah.
But we're talking about this later. So, what is the best aspect of your work, and what is the most difficult one?
So I will start with the most difficult one.
Okay. Yes. Sure. Let's get it away.
Give it a nice one. So every time I say, yeah, I do science communication and awareness, especially with kids, and they all go like, oh, so you study whales and sea turtles and like big beautiful animals, and I'm like, no.
Much more,
much easier, because you can see them and they're so pretty, you know. But yeah, when I start talking about plankton, and sometimes they see and they're like, oh, they look like insects, you know.
They do, aliens,
but
yes.
not all of them, but some of them do, and you have to accept this. So trying to like really share my passion of something that's so tiny, so invisible, and sometimes not that beautiful, is kind of hard. So I can't always share my nerdy part of like loving plankton,
like
you know?
like the fish. What's the fish that lives very very deep in the ocean? Like
It's called like a blobfish or something.
No, with the lampadina, with the light on his head.
Anglerfish. The anglerfish, yes.
Is that amazing?
It's so ugly. I know.
Yes, he is.
But it's
so
amazing,
ugly.
isn't it?
It's so
It's just
amazing.
insane. Yeah.
The evolution, and he actually like bought from IKEA a light to see. I mean, this is fantastic.
Yeah, and to eat.
Yes,
It's just like, hey guys, I have a light here.
Yeah.
Come along.
So what's instead the wonderful part of your
The
work?
wonderful part is teaching kids. Like you see them, and like I work with kids mostly at sea, so they might be from surf school or like sailing clubs, so they know already about the sea. They live in the sea. It's their playground, right? But when I show them under the microscope what they can see, like their eyes just like open up, and they're like, "Oh my God, there's life! It's alive! It moves around!" And it just like fulfills my heart, you know. It's just so amazing to see how kids can. They're so curious and fascinated about the word, and as soon as you give them like the tools to understand, they're just like blown away. They're like, wow, this is insane, this is amazing, I want to do this as well. So I think that's like inspiring the next generation, you know. That's everything for me.
What's the age of your students?
Mostly like it could be from 7 to even like high school, so like 13, 15 is very different.
Yeah,
but like is this kind of same reaction, which is really interesting, because sometimes I make them play like little games and stuff, and I made some games for like elementary school, but the high school kids were like, what is that? And I was like, it's a game for kids, but do you want to try it? They're like, yeah, sure. And they got so interested about it. They were so excited. They were like playing around and competing with each other. And I was like, whoa, this is really interesting.
That's nice. So cute. How is your work or research related to the oceans? And what did you learn?
Well, I'm not researching right now, but all I do is about the sea. That's my biggest passion, and that's all I do. I mean, I would love to go back to research and study more about plankton, because that's my thing. But I don't know, just even doing science communication, sometimes like some researchers tell me like, oh, you should go back and study, you should go back and do like a PhD. But I feel like I'm studying so much, even like learning from the kids, because every time they ask you something, you're like, oh, I don't know this. So you start researching yourself, you know, and you start like learning new things, and it's just mesmerizing what you can learn from kids, from just like a simple question. You learn so much. And yeah, so every day is like a learning day, you know, it's not just teaching, it's learning as well.
Of course, it's beautiful. And what are the issues linked to the sea fragile condition, and what do you point out? What is your tangible impact on our daily lives?
Okay, so I'm gonna ask this question to you actually. What do you because I kind of like say it all over again.
No,
I'm
because
like,
yes, of
I'm
course,
bored of it, you know.
You do it,
But,
you
like,
do it, yes.
I want to know what other people think, because like sometimes, you know, you say it so many times that you're like, I feel like everyone knows it, but then maybe other people don't know it. Or
Yeah, no, they
see it
don't.
that much.
No, of course. No, but I'm not saying that. It's really difficult, right? In the world and in the society we live in these days and in this era. So I try to buy things that are eco-friendly, that are biodegradable. Biodegradable. So yes, and try to do, you know, all the stuff, because it's obvious everything, as we said, it's connected. So I'm trying to choose more my daily things that I use, and try not to avoid. I mean, try to avoid plastic, of course, and sustainable shoes, leather, and whatever. But I know this is difficult for people because they're often very expensive. People don't know, or they just like even a stupid thing like smoking. I don't smoke, of course, but it's not because I don't like it. I'm not saying that smoke is smoke if you want. I'm not saying, but people that throw. I saw this morning people, a lady that threw a piece of a finished cigarette outside the window of the car. This for me, it's something that I absolutely don't understand. How can you not think about it? And it's not just the ocean, it's everything. And yes, that's really, but yeah, I do not everything, I have to be honest,
No,
because
but
it's
I mean,
difficult.
that's the thing. Like most of the time we think that we need to do so much, but we're just like one person, you know, and we're like, what can I do to save the world? Like I can't do it myself. I'm just one human being, and I mean, there's so many, and everyone's doing something else, and I don't know. But even like what you do, what I do, what everyone else does is so important. Like even the smallest little thing, like buying less, or using less, or like just being conscious of what you do. Like we're a lot of human beings in this planet, you know. And our impact is quite huge. So every single little thing, it might be the stupidest thing, but if you do it in a conscious way, in like being aware of what you do, whatever it is, like even drinking water, like, or washing your face, like just everything you do in a more conscious way, then I think that's the way to do it, and that's the way we can try and be more eco-friendly, if that's the word, I don't know, but more sustainable, more conscious of our planet, and more careful.
Well, we have to start with kids, right? So you're doing a great job, and I think it's
I hope
important
so.
to. Oh my God, yes, and it's important to bring this in schools and
But then
to start
even
with them.
even there, sometimes I'm like, why are we putting all this pressure to kids? They're just born, you know. They're like the next generation. Yes, we hope they're gonna do everything that's best, and we're trying to teach them everything. But even us, like, I mean, everyone else, like adults, like even old people, I mean, they still need to do like something about it.
I know,
They can't just be like,
you're
oh,
right.
the next
You're right,
generation is gonna
absolutely,
do it. We're gonna teach them.
You
They're gonna
see,
solve the
but
problem.
it's more difficult if you
I
think
know,
about it.
because we're so based in routines, and like we're so used to like flick our cigarettes in the out of the car or in the
and
sea.
people are
But-
afraid of change. People don't change. They like to stay like the medium, no? They want to stay in that situation, in that line.
They're scared of change, but then they're not scared of the climate changing. They're not scared of the ocean changing.
Because they don't see it. If they really saw it, what's happening, and you know, because of course it's your thing, and you study and whatever, maybe they can really understand.
Yeah, maybe we should show them.
Oh my God, yes.
But I feel
Yes,
like
we
you can
should.
see already.
I know. But you see, they have a narrow mind. They just see what they do, no, every day. Oh my God.
How can we bring?
I'm getting pissed right now. I'm getting angry with
There
all the
must
people.
be a way. There must be a way. I'm
They
sure.
obviously- yes, I know.
Because we're all connected. Like I feel like that's the most important thing. We're all connected. As we said before, it's not just like one ocean, like one sea or the other sea or another ocean or like this grass or another forest. It's all connected. It's all an ecosystem we're part of. And we can't just be like, oh yeah, but you know, I live in Milan, I don't see the sea, I mean, what's my impact, you know? I live in a big city, I mean, I can only take the car and stuff, but everything we do is part of this cycle. We're all part of this ecosystem, and it's not even like helping the environment, it's helping ourselves, because we're part of the environment, we are the environment, as we are the ocean. And it's just all linked together.
Yes. Let's be positive.
Let's be so
Let's be positive.
I'm sure
and
we can do
spread
it.
Yes, we have to spread it. This is important. What worries you the most?
You said be positive.
No, infatti, che cavolo. No, yes, we're positive, but in your studies, in your fantastic discoveries, what worries you in this particular moment the most?
Well,
if you have something, maybe you aren't worried.
I am really
You are,
worried.
okay, perfect.
I am super worried.
Okay.
But I am really worried about our ocean, because our ocean is everything to us, you know? It gives us the oxygen we breathe. It gives us the food we eat, you know? And even if we don't eat fish, we eat some other animals that come from the sea somehow, you know, because it's all a circle. It gives us the water, it gives us the transport. So it's even like an really economic value, you know? And seeing it change so much and so fast, it just scares me so much, you know?
I understand.
And you see it changing, and I mean, I'm trying to be positive.
No, I know
You're
exactly.
not helping.
No, because that's what I wanted to link from before when I said people that don't care. It's because they don't see it. So I went to Maldives some years ago, and we were in this beautiful resort with this coralline barrier. How do you call it?
Coral reef.
Coral reef, perfect. It was in front of the resort, so we went there and we just like snorkeling and seeing all these beautiful and colored fish, fantastic fish. But the corals were very grayish, whitish, and I said, "Boo! I thought the corals were colored." I mean, I saw it, and in these videos or in movies and stuff. I said, well, maybe they used filters or they colored post-colored. I don't know.
They bleached all the color.
Yes. I said, I don't know why it's happening.
Like the queen in Alice in the Wonderland, you know?
Exactly, with the paint,
roses.
yes. I said, obviously, I don't know, they painted it. But then what happened, I didn't even think about the fact that those corals were suffering, no? We went 15 minutes, maybe outside, 15 minutes, outside in the ocean, like in the bigger ocean, in another reef, that it was probably more, I don't know, less impact with I don't know. Now I want to ask you why. Wait. So I went to this reef and I suddenly saw all these colors and all these. Do you know anemone? Anemones. Yes, all the anemones, red and yellow, and everything was so colored and beautiful. Blue. How can you imagine something being blue like that? It's not a normal blue. That's a blue that is fantastic. So I said, there's something wrong in the coral reef of the hotel, because
they have to change
it. Why are they aren't colored and that's colored? So what happens? I want to ask you this because my friend said, because it's very hot. But what happened really to that grayish coral?
Well, your friend is right.
Okay.
It's kind of too hot. What happens is that corals are actually animals, and they make this structure, right? But you have to imagine corals as an hotel. So everyone is living in his own flat. There's all these polyps living there and feeding off the plankton, of course. And then they have some really good friends of theirs, which are zooxanthellae, which are algae. Algae, okay. Seaweed, basically, but like micro seaweed.
Okay.
Very tiny ones. They're just attached to them. So they have the really close friends, all right? They live together. And the phytoplankton, the little algae that live with the polyp, they photosynthesize. So they take in the sun and they produce sugar and everyone's happy, right? So they take in the sun, they make food for the polyp. So the polyp eats, and the phytoplankton is really happy and colorful and makes the colorful coral reef, right? what happens when it's too hot or too sunny, right? Because the sun is too strong and it's really hot. So the polyp is like, all this photosynthesis is too much for me right now. You're giving me too much food. You're like going crazy. I need you to leave. So that's what it does, basically. The polyp just let the algae go away. But he forgot that the algae was giving him food. So he's there without any food.
It dies?
It dies because he's starving to death. It's just like, oh, crazy. I left my phytoplankton going away and now I can't feed anymore.
Oh my God.
And that's why they start bleaching, because they don't have the color of the phytoplankton. They're not eating anymore. And the only thing you see is actually a kind of rock. It's not alive anymore because even the polyp kind of dies. And those are the colorful part, the animals, the alive part, right? All the structure, the building is like an empty building, what you see, right?
Of course,
it's
yes.
like as if this hotel was empty and then you just see the structure and it's white and there's no colorful people around. There's no people like all dressed up and nice, you know?
Pazzesco. This is amazing. Thank you. Thank you for this description. No, it's very important because when you see it and when you go in these tropical places and you see it, because it's very often that you see all these like whitish corals, this is heartbreaking because I could tell that something was wrong. So thank you can I ask you, and sorry, then I will go and we finish. When I saw a turtle eating some of that white coral, so you're saying that the polyps are still there, right? They can still more or less feed the other fish, or not at all?
I mean, it's gradual.
Okay.
So sometimes there might be some polyps and then
okay.
they die off.
Okay.
But even the hard part, the kind of rock thing, right? It is nutritious because it has some nutrients for some fish as well, for like parrotfish or for turtles. They can feed on it as well. I mean, they're looking for the polyps as well, but also like the hard part is good for them.
Okay, thank you. Because I saw it, so she was like, yes,
I
said,
like
oh,
it.
so cute, she's eating, no? So thank you, okay, perfect. Che dobbiamo finire, no? No, che ne so. No, è stata per io quando vedo Gianluca al mio ufficio stampa, scusate, è importante, perché non so mai... But good question. What actions we can all take to protect the oceans? Like some easy tips.
So we talked about it a little before, right? So we said about like reducing what we consume, what we buy. Because the other day I was talking to my friend and we were talking about how to be sustainable. How can we like tell people what to do? Like what is the practical thing to do?
Yeah.
Should we make something new? Should we buy only sustainable? Should we eat less fish and less meat? Use less water? Yes, of course. Yes, all these are good and we should really do them. And but also just like reducing what we do. So instead of like, yes, buying sustainable is good, but not buying is even better. Like I know it's hard because we live in a society that's made for buying, for consumption, and we travel and we eat and we use so much, right? But the less we use, the less we produce is the best, you know?
We all have to calm down, okay? We all have to stop a little bit. Do you agree? Like the humanity, no? In general, we all have to stop. In fact, strange things. Do you remember when here in Venice, when COVID arrived, here in Venice, the dolphins started to come, and you never see, how can you see dolphins in the near Venice, right?
Yeah.
So it was amazing. Like, okay, I don't mean that stop, okay? So, I mean, calm down, yes, but no, COVID.
No, we don't have to stop. No. We don't have to stop.
Exactly.
We just have to like rethink what we do and like reduce, you know?
Yes.
Reduce. And I feel like that's not enough even. You said before, like, we have to see it. Then let's go out and explore it. Let's do more research. Let's literally go in the sea or in a park and really open our eyes and see how beautiful it is. Because like sometimes looking around is not enough. You really need to observe and really like go deeper into what's there, right? So like even here, like look how beautiful it is. Just because there's some green, you know, and like green even makes us feel better.
Yes,
and like the blue is the same, right?
Of course.
And it just gives us so much. And like let's try to give it some back as well.
Exactly.
And I feel like exploring and seeing and looking, and it will make us see how important this is to us and how close it is to us.
Yes.
And then yes, we're going to protect
Yes.
it, because as soon as we see it, as soon as we empathize with it, it becomes something that we love, and then we need to protect it.
Exactly.
Because if we care, then we protect.
Yes,
you know?
that's the fact. People should love more
Yeah.
the place they live in. Oh my God. Parole sante, parole sante. Okay, is there anything you... Scusate, perché mi devo leggere, perché mi ricordo a memoria queste domande. No, sorry, I have to read them before, because otherwise I can't do the... I'm sorry. So, did you ever dream about doing something you didn't do?
Every day.
Oh my God, every day.
Every day I'm like,
For
what's my
example?
next thing to
Oh,
do?
wow.
Because you have to know that, like, I graduated recently, right?
Yeah.
And that was my dream, like graduating in marine biology in the UK. And I did
Beautiful, yeah.
that. And then I was like, okay, what's my next dream? Sailing around the world.
Oh.
So I bought myself a sailboat.
What? Oh my God.
with a photographer I just met. And I was like, yeah, we're going to sail around. And so I did that for a year. And I loved it so
wow.
much. And I was doing science communication and teaching kids and everything. And then after that ended, I was like, I need to keep doing this. I love this. So I went to Germany and bought a van. Like a
And
what
you
you-
went with the van around the world?
No, that's what I'm trying to do. Like,
Oh my God, wow.
not around the world, but maybe around Europe and Italy for sure.
Yes.
I would love to do that. So that's what I'm trying to do now. And what I dream of, well, I would love to get a boat again. And I was just talking about it just a second ago. That I would, like, my dream now is going to the Arctic and see like the North Pole. That, like, you know, like that extreme environment, like
Yes.
just ice, and like being
Yes.
there with a sailboat and experiencing like the silence and like this
Wow.
extreme world that's so, it seems so far away, but it's so important for us as well. And just like
Is
seeing
it
what's there.
dangerous? It's not dangerous? No?
Okay.
Okay. No, I mean,
I mean,
I trust you.
I don't know
I've never
about
been.
polar bears, but they look
yes.
really nice.
Seals, oh my God. That unfortunately they use for fur, no? You know, my God. I had like, I had this society with some of my friends to stop fur, because it's really stupid, you know, it's something that is really, vabbè.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Altro argomento.
But what's your dream? What you want to do
My
next? Yeah.
My dream.
I mean, I don't know.
Oh my
when
God,
you wake up and you're like,
I
I really want to do this.
No, because I really, my
don't know,
dreams
just
are
like
just
live in Hawaii and surf every day. I don't
in
know.
Hawaii. No, I don't. I try to surf, but I can't stand up. I tried.
You have to try
But
again.
I know. Do you surf?
Yeah.
Of course you do. Oh my God, of course you do.
I try. I'm not a good
But maybe
surfer, but I try.
but I slip. Maybe I have to put wax
Yeah,
on it
wax
much
on it.
more.
Much nicer.
Ah, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
much easier.
Ma mi fa male il braccio. My arm is sore when I put all that wax.
Let someone else do it. And then
Okay,
we can
perfect.
go
Yeah, some
more.
man, some strong man. Okay, yes. No, but no, I did all my dreams, so I'm fine
You're done,
with.
you're good.
I don't know yet. I don't know. I'm very happy with my life right
That's
now.
really good.
Yes. But yes, of course, like to do an action movie, maybe I don't know.
Can I come as well? I would love to do an action movie.
You? Do you want to?
So nice.
Oh my God!
Can we do it underwater?
Together. Yes.
An action movie with like a submarine.
Yes.
That'd be really nice.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yes. I will ask some directors, scenography. Yeah. So, okay, this question is actually, well, we already, this is the last question, Francesca? Eccoti. Yeah, it's the last question because, but we already talked about it. What can we do? What can we contribute? No, scusate, che non mi ricordo questa cosa. Presentation of the decade of the ocean's action to be supported. But no, this we see later. No, scusami. Sorry, I forgot.
All right. So I was talking before about all my dreams and what I want to do
yes.
and all this crazy stuff that I do
Okay.
on Thursdays, like buying a van.
Exactly,
That's the
and a
last
boat.
thing So I sold the boat, but now I have a van.
Okay.
But I actually went to Germany to get this van because it's a post office van.
Oh.
So it's a yellow van that used to send post around. So just like the furgone della posta.
Sì, che figo.
And so it's a used van, so it's secondhand. And I love the idea that it sends a message around, because it was sending letters around, right? So I want to keep doing that. So that's where my project starts, and that's why I'm here and why we're with UNESCO and everything. So my project, which is called Posea, which means post from the sea, so posta dal mare, and possible, so science for everyone kind of thing. Like everyone should be able to do science and be welcome to science. It's not something like only for only scientists,
No,
you know,
exactly,
it's for everyone.
exactly.
So that's kind of my plan. And as you said, do you want to travel the world with your van? Kind of, yes. And I want my van to be a sea library and a sea lab, so that I can go around and like have all my books about the sea and like a lab with a
big?
microscope.
Is it very big?
It's not that big.
It's not that big. Okay.
But
Oh, you would-
in my head is really
Yeah,
big. It's a transporter T5. It's a
But you
space van.
will put books in it and you'll
Yeah.
do everything. Okay.
And my plan is to travel around Italy along the coast and stop around and do labs with kids, especially in sailing clubs. So we're closer to the sea, but also in cities where maybe
Nice,
you
right.
can't see the sea,
Right.
and show
Why
them
not?
everything about plankton and share all I know about the sea, you know.
Yes.
And yeah, it's just part of inspiring the next generation, but also trying to create a network of all the people that really care about the ocean and want to do something both locally and globally to try to create this,
Of course.
blue community. that,
Nice.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you, Marta. Thank you very much. You're fantastic. The claim of this fantastic aperitivo is become part of the generation ocean. Which is your totem? Which is your totem? Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Thank you.
Grazie,
Thank you,
grazie
Diana.
Marta,
Grazie
grazie
mille.
mille. Questo stanno parlando con me. Grazie Francesca.
Thank you. Thank you so very much. I think if we wanted to make it as easy and fun, we did it. So I hope we inspired a lot of people to become like Marta, and thank you so much for. So this is actually our first Aperitivo Blu in person. So we did it online through COVID. Yeah, so you are the first ones. We will always remember about you. And so thanks again to the Hotel Cadidio. And now this virtual Aperitivo Blu becomes real. I'm so sorry for those looking at us online, but we are going to have a real Aperitivo finally. So I'm going to ask Elena Moschetta, the owner of the Bianca Vigna. Stay here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the invitation. And thank you for the invitation and for choosing Bianca Vigna as a partner of this interesting and important event. Bianca Vigna, we are a familiar company. My brother Enrico is the enologist, and we cultivate 32 hectares in the Prosecco di OCG area. The name is Conegliano Valdobbiadene, 50 kilometers from here. The first hills that the wind they meet from Venice. Probably the reason why Cadidio chose the Bianca Vigna is for our focus on sustainability. In fact, the winery is built with a green protocol. The name is Casa Clima Wine, and means that the building was built with sustainability, so recycled materials, renewable sources, and for example, with the solar panels, we are independent for at the minimum 80% of the energy. But then the protocol go through the product chain. For example, we use a lighter bottle, the one you can see over there. The weight is lighter, and so we do our part due to the fact that we export more than 50% of the production. All the vineyards are in integrated pest management. That means that we reduce at the minimum chemical products, and we use different products like sexual confusion and others. And we have a vineyard in organic, and so the bottle and the wine you are going to have as aperitif is organic Prosecco Conegliano Valdobbiadene. And so enjoy the...
Thank you so very much. I'm sorry for those who can't drink the Prosecco with us. Thank you. I'm so sorry that this World Ocean Day is already ending, but see you in Lisbon in less than 20 days. We're going to meet all in Lisbon for the UN Ocean Conference. It's the moment now to really come together to make bold decisions for the ocean, because we have only one ocean and we are all ocean. Thank you.